a few numbers because I overguessed, but there's like 57 pictures, 58 numbered. What's going on, guys? We am live.
We am live.
It's Sunday. We're dead. Good night. We just wanted to come in and say hi and then leave. There's no review. We're not doing anything. Although, I really was very happy about this episode. I've been waiting so long for this to finally get something new. And then to have it open on SpongeBob swinging open the door of the Krusty Krab was amazing. So long. 6 months waiting for this to happen. So good. And nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. So, guys,
overlap in that audience.
Yes. So, actually, on the secondary channel, I believe I will be reviewing the first episode of the SpongeBob anime. So, if you're interested in seeing that, go subscribe to the secondary channel. Also, if you want to go see all the other things that I review, go do that. I assume we're still ahead of you. I haven't checked your numbers.
I know I've gotten a couple of new subscribers over the past few days, but I can't remember the number. I haven't been checking.
Let me look. I gotta go look. Meantime, tell them what they should have been watching on your channel this week, and they didn't because they're buttheads.
Let's see. Last week I posted my review of the Zagok E, which was one of the ones, and Beast Wars Scavenger, which is the Transmetal ant that was probably supposed to be Inferno, and then they decided not to make it Inferno.
Transferno. Yeah, it was clearly supposed to be Transmetal Inferno. Clearly. It's like, oh no, we just happen to have another ant. It's fine. Jerry, you're not really late. We literally just started. I forgot what day it is. It's still Sunday. I know. I've seen a lot of it. You're at 2:16, so I am 10 ahead of you currently. It's okay if a couple of you want to go subscribe to him now. We have a decent lead.
So subscribe to my channel, please. I'm posting Transformers stuff over there more often now.
That's a weird thing. Oh, who lives in a detail right behind his armchair? It can't really do that. Too many syllables. Close. Like you might have to lose the word right.
Workshop it a little bit more.
Or change it to chair. All right, so we got Jerry, Androius, Hida, Lindell, Antoni Aelio. What's up? Plasmarks, Jack of Blades. Hi, guys. I'm tired. I'm less tired than last week, but still really fucking tired. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I have to make up for last week. Last week, I forgot the Trophy of Apathy. So there we go. And yes, I'm in dark mode today because that's how I feel. It's been a hell of a couple of days.
Did I turn off my overhead lights too?
No, your room would be dark as hell. See, the thing is you have no backlight. You have no ambient backlighting to make it happen. So we have to do the lighting on the shelves. Wait, weren't you working on that at one point? Putting LEDs on things? LED strips?
The shelf.
Yeah.
The shelf that way.
Yeah, not the one behind you.
Nope. And it's only one strand, and I'm still not 100% satisfied with it yet. I just haven't had time to mess with it.
Yep. Good evening, YouTube land. Okay, so who lives in a detail in a nerd's room? It doesn't flow. It's close. Also, who are we talking about? Who would be living in the detail?
Would it work for your mascot custom?
What?
The Gatabata Grays or whatever it was.
Grace Karibata. Karibata.
Karibata.
Well, I was trying to think, would it be SpongeBob Gunplants? Either way, seriously, go watch the SpongeBob anime. It's actually incredibly good. I made him watch it, and he admitted it was good.
There's jokes that I don't get because I've only watched a handful of SpongeBob episodes.
Mm-hmm. No, well, there's the funny thing is there's stuff that is definitely related to original SpongeBob, but then there's stuff that's manga only. And yes, that's the joke, is that there is a manga for SpongeBob. It's based off of this. It's made by Narmak, but it's also does this where it condenses like a whole season into an episode, and like just trusts you to know what has happened before just because. Like that's why I said there's a whole lot of storytelling without even saying anything or showing anything on the screen. It's like, oh, here's the history of all this. So it was fantastic. The fact that it took 6 months to make that one episode is nuts.
Well, considering I think he was basically doing it by himself. Was he the only person?
He animated it. Yep, he animated it. But then of course he had the voice actors, the music, all that, because he had to use more original music for obvious reasons.
So like the theme songs are actually original. They're not just ripped from some other anime, right?
Well, the thing is that when you watch it and it has the theme song intro, that is the final season outro that he did, and that is from another anime, I think. But I think it's one that he didn't get hit with copyrights. The other ones he had to take down. Well, take down. He had to not monetize. Because obviously he used one from My Hero Academia and then a couple others. But either way, he needs to alter that now because it gets real confusing, because that was actually a closing credits song, not an opening intro.
That's what I thought, because I remember watching the collection of the openings and endings that he made, which were just absolutely awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, as somebody who's done just simple Flash animation, puppet style stuff, that took me like a month by itself, and that was just, and my thing was, I think, even shorter than what his was.
Yeah, and he's got to be like editing, or he's got to be animating like on the twos at least. Like, he's got to be doing minimum 12, but it looks like he was doing 24. Because those mouth movements, especially when Bubble Bass is just yammering, are so smooth. That's not just open, close, like middle. No, that's movement. I'm just like, damn. It's like, is there legitimate? There's a legitimate SpongeBob anime manga. All of a sudden, JoJo seems slightly less distasteful. Legitimate?
It's all
no, it's a fan thing. But it is done so amazing. Like, okay, I will be reviewing it. I'm gonna review the first episode tomorrow, over on the second channel. It doesn't have to make sense, and that's where I show you other things you guys probably have no clue exist. Oh, by the way, over on my channel, I had some things happen. There were a whole bunch of Gundams named after planets. There was a small box-shaped robot, and then, or was that 4 small box-shaped objects? Yes, you and your penguins. You said twice. I still have other things to review. They're in this box. I got to do that tomorrow as well. So tomorrow I will be reviewing a lot of robots and then one weird anime. And then what else did I have? Oh, people seem to really like the whole kit bashing thing. Now, I'm sure the watch times are garbage because I know it was a very long video, but I wanted to show, like, okay, this is how you take these things apart and just like, and for anybody wondering, yes, they are still in that configuration because I was too lazy to turn them all back. But at the end of it, what I called the leftovers Gundam that you guys didn't get to see, but if you watch the vlogs, you will. I kind of want to build on that idea because the color scheme that came out of it was actually pretty cool. And I just have to disassemble other things. Penguins are horrifying. No, they're not. Seals are horrifying. I'm sorry. Sea lions or walruses. Those are horrifying. Whichever one rapes penguins for fun. Sea elephants, I think, technically do that. Yeah, they literally will. It's.
I know dolphins do something like that too. So
dolphins are different though because they're like in and out and done. Like if you ever, I've watched way too many nature shows. Dolphins are literally like a few moments of contact and done. No, these like sea elephants or walruses, whichever one they are, very large mammalian creatures. They will legit like hold down a penguin and rape it to death, but for masturbation purposes. They're obviously not trying to mate with it. It's just
good
like,
night, everybody.
Yeah, I like bringing out really weird topics. Sea otters are necrophiliacs. Are they?
I
seems
maybe
really
have heard
weird.
something about that. I want to say
I
I've
don't
also
think
heard something about that towards penguins too.
this is why I like river otters. They're bigger and they're cuter. Well, just depending on application. River otters are always the ones you see that people have as pets, and they're like begging for food, or they're like holding little things between their paws and nibbling it. Or that one meme where it's like the very like face, you know, it's like that, but it's an otter.
The good
That's
day, sir.
No, it's not that one.
Day.
Well, no. Penguins with their beaks open are nightmare fuel, or are they?
A lot of birds with the stuff that goes on inside their beaks is
never look down their beaks. No, it's creepy. Don't look at the inside of a goose's mouth either. They have teeth. Birds with teeth. If you ever see a screaming goose with its mouth open and tongue like nah in the teeth, you're right about that. Those are terrifying. Penguins, I didn't expect, but I guess if they got to catch fish and stuff, that would make sense. This episode is still less disturbing and scarring than last week's episode. Yeah, for some reason, I actually got hit with it said it was unsuitable for ads for some reason last week. I don't know if it was the language, which I always disclose that we use bad language, and they're like, cool. And then I think it might have been the showing somebody with a beam going through their chest. I don't know. There was no explanation. I got it back, but you know, that's that. Sorry, I am late. I almost forgot to watch this week's episode. How do you forget, Ben? Who are you? Did you take out the trash? That's all that matters.
Now
Ryu Delta Plus.
It's still warming up.
Yep. Okay, Jeremy Osha is here. How Temao is here. Says, hey, it's been a while since I caught up. Hi.
Yo.
Heresy. Yes.
Heresy detected.
Heresy detected. Heresy detected. Oh, one thing about the SpongeBob anime, other than like the blatantly crazy alterations to characters, they actually got voice actors who were pretty close. Like the guy playing Mr. Krabs is very Japanese Clancy Brown, even like has some of that.
I thought so too. Even like
Patrick.
Yeah,
the deep voice.
Even though he's playing, the characterization is totally different.
Totally different.
It sounds like a Japanese Patrick Star.
Dude, okay, so you've seen the intros that he put together. So the intros are based off of all of the mangas. So those were showing the storylines. So Bubble Bass is the first arc. Eventually we get into the what I guess is the Squidward arc. And then later we get into spoiler territory with what happens to Patrick. So
is that why Sally still has both arms?
Yes.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, no. First of all, the animation just for that whole intro is amazing. Like seriously, guys, just Google or YouTube SpongeBob anime or go subscribe to Narmak. But yeah, no, the voice acting
get hit with a cease and desist.
I don't think so because he would have by now. I mean, it's his own original content based off the IP. He's not using any of the voicing. He's not using. It's all original animation, and it's his own story. So, I mean, he's using real names, but it is what it is.
Companies can get weird when their IP is being used in ways that they don't necessarily care for.
Well, what's funny about it is there's got to be something. There's got to be some allowance because he wouldn't even be able to monetize it. But then again,
it would be
transformative.
It's transformative, so therefore it is covered under fair use, particularly for artistic projects.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about SpongeBob anime. It's that good. It's like, and it came out after ReRISE. I think. Wait, did it come out after ReRISE or was that on? I think it might have been on Wednesday. All I know is I was super excited when it finally came out. I was like, I knew it was coming. I think it might have been Friday. I knew it was coming because I follow it, and he kept posting, about it. It's coming. We were just waiting on the last couple things, and it actually should have been out earlier, but due to certain things happening in the world, being able to get voice actors into a studio, stuff like that, were a little bit difficult.
Is he working on an episode 2 already, or
I believe so, because he does have these arcs laid out, and it is essentially like half a season worth in a single episode. So it's not like it's not like it's 23 episodes. It's like one episode that covers like 7, of content, but it's only like 12 minutes long. It's like, were you confused by anything that happened in that episode? Were you left going, wait, how did we get here? Everything in that episode is like, okay. So like, based off your knowledge of SpongeBob, you know how we got here, and then everything within the episode is completely self-contained and explained. And it's just
it's like if you have a basic understanding of SpongeBob, if you have a basic understanding of basically shonen anime tropes, then yeah, you can follow it.
Oh yeah, dude, it's all over shonen tropes. It's like JoJo, Naruto. He goes after every anime trope in 12 minutes. It's impressive. It's an impressive piece of work. And then when you're done watching that, go watch all of the intros with the outro, just because we're done. Dude, okay, so we'll get to the real episode here in a second, guys. We always bullshit for the first 15, 20 minutes. If you go look at the comparative numbers, so if you look at the individual intros as he laid them out before, each one has like, I don't know, 10 million, 16 million views, something like that, which is ridiculous, right?
Right.
But then you get to, hold on, let me actually pull it up, because before I start quoting numbers, give me just a second. Sorry, guys, this is important. Nope, don't actually start the episode. It's like, didn't actually. And by the way, he does do other animations and stuff. That's the important thing. There are other things he's done, even JoJo parodies. He's got Johnny's weird something or other. Oh, Johnny's Abnormal Crusade, which actually is also a One Punch Man parody as well. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. So, and he released the original soundtrack stuff too, by the way. Which is cool. I'm trying to scroll. Give me just a second, guys. Sorry. Okay, so where's the combination? I'm trying to get all the numbers, but either way, most of them have like 12 million, 13 to 13 million, and like for some reason, the one where he puts all 4 of them together. Actually, that might have been taken down because I can't find it.
Oh no!
Yeah, oh no, indeed. Where is it?
Unless that was somebody else's channel and they aped his content.
No, it was on his channel. Now I'm not seeing it. Yeah, they might have taken it down. The third one is still there. They took it down because of the music. Damn. It was there the other day. So it had like 400 million views, something like that. It was an absurdly high number for just the combo of all of it. Yeah, so I guess all the ones where he got the copyright strikes, he took them down. That sucks, because those were awesome. Find the reactions of people who do watch those. Okay, so I realized Gundam GLs, and I just realized Gundam GLs and Gundam Shining Break from Divers manga spinoff are anime in the background. Yeah, the Shining Break was in season 1, right at the end. Imagination.
They had you actually, and you hear their pilot divers, whatever, talk to each other just real quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so sounds like, wow, this thing is strong. Yeah, sure is, person whose name I don't remember.
Yep. Okay, so I've been packing up my shoe collection and looked up how much they're worth, and my shoes are actually worth a lot of money now. I'll send some to buy some Gunpla. There you go. Do it. Sell some shoes. Yeah, because you said you're moving, right? I'm here. Okay, Malik is here. Good. Now Malik is here. We can get started.
Thank Yay!
God. Yay! I don't remember. How did this episode start?
We open outside.
Wasn't the outside already open?
It was closed. Now it's not.
Hold on, guys. I have to do this thing.
There we go.
I have it ready to go. By the way, I finally have energy. I've been dead, tired all day. No, I drank water. Still have some water. I have beer too. I have energy beer. Shout out to community. Okay, so we open up outside.
Yep. You wanted me to lead off on this?
I don't know. I'm going off your notes because I haven't had time to actually make my own. I did all the screenshottings. But either way, Hinata is walking this way, and Hirato's walking this way, and they meet in the middle. They have a little meet cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Hiruto, what's in like the bag Hiruto is holding is like treats or something like that for the meetup that he's going to.
Yeah, so he's heading to a meetup, so he's heading to the G Cafe. She's going away from G Cafe, I guess. Didn't she say something about already being at work or was off today or something for other things?
That's later.
I don't know. Oh, that's right. That is later because he said, "Do you want to come with me?" That's right. They run into each other and then walk together sort of twice in this episode, both heading towards the G Cafe in a different manner. But the reason I went with this screenshot is because of the case he's holding. So presumably, that's right. He's not going to G Cafe. He's going to Par's mega ship.
Yeah, his super cruise ship thing.
The Arjun mega ship.
Though what's weird, and I mentioned this later, is that this appears to be the same restaurant they met at before.
Yeah, but it's on the ship.
It's on his ship.
Yeah, so
which is confusing.
Yeah, they have a restaurant built into the ship, probably several, even though it's his own private thing. Carlos is already bitching about Hinata, which is why I made her so big in the thumbnail, was just to annoy you, Carlos. I was going to have it just her face with a middle finger. And I'm just kidding. But either way, yeah, they meet up, they talk about it. You going to a meet? Oh, you're actually going to go meet up with your people in real life?
Yeah, friends, real friends. She looks absolutely adorable in that scene.
Also, I used your picture. Are you happy?
Yes, I am.
He saved me approximately 23 pictures out of almost 60. Do more.
I'll leave that up to you.
It was funny is like, okay, so you write these fairly detailed notes, and then you like get a few screenshots. You're like, this was important. Yeah, but there's like 19 things around that one thing. And not that I'm saying you have to do it all. Doovie Gunpla is broke. Sorry, that sucks to be you. He wants a Voodoo Ranger IPA. Nice. Sorry, just read that. Bag is just full of doll clothes for May. That would be weird. I'm pretty sure it has his Gunpla in it or his drawing book or something. But he has the thing on. He's got like a pouch or something on his back pocket. Maybe that's a cell phone pocket or that's his Gunpla pocket.
I think that because we see characters with a Gunpla pouch in other.
That was in Fighters a lot. They definitely had a Gunpla pouch, almost like a Pokeball thing on their belt. But then there's... I thought this was funny. I forgot what the actual reaction is, but that part's funny. He's like, no, it's not like that. Also, like, things happen in this episode, and you're just kind of like, finally. But then there's also moments where I'm like, oh, come on, do more. Like, there's a moment in here where they definitively show you that these two are not going to be a couple. They definitively show that, and you're like, okay. But, like, you had two ways to go. You went that way. Now we know what's up. But at this point, they're still, like, being cute together. And I think, didn't she notice that he's much happier this go-around, too?
Yes. As he's walking away.
Walk this way.
We see... basically the child version of him running up behind him,
carrying the same bag.
Intersect.
Yeah,
and then she smiles because it's like she's seeing her old friend is back and everything is good again. And that's a cool scene, and that's some neat symbolism there.
Yeah. Do we even see anyone else when they're on the ship? No, it's literally his private boat. But like. He's heading towards the seaside, I assume, because that's where the thing is. But you see the Ferris wheel, stuff like that. So we know the Ferris wheel is near the G Cafe, which is also near the seaside, as we found out they're the seaside builders. So everything's in that direction.
I still wish I knew where this was in like real life, because I swear this is all based off of real things.
It's got to be, but I could not find it. I looked. I went all about the Google Earths.
Yeah, because like you do a search for like Seaside Gundam Base, you get the Diver Mall or whatever, which is where the Gundam base, the real Gundam base that was also seen in first season.
That's in Divers City, which is
Divers City. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a whole different place. Yeah, Carlos, come on, do more. That's me watching 50% of the show. Quit hating, dude. Quit hating. It's like, if you hate it this much, why do you watch it? Hinata and Hiroto bump in this episode. Oh, no. Hiroto got his game back. Yeah, how Hiroto got his game back would be last week's episode title.
I mean, that could be the subtitle for the entire series, I suppose.
Yeah.
How Hiroto got his Gunpla back.
He's Gunpla back. Okay. I really wish I could control the screenshots while looking at the screen. I cannot do that. Doesn't work. That literally says offline meeting. Oh. I don't care. Cool. Anyways, moving on.
So opening credits, and then we're back on the massive cruise liner.
That one. That is literally a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Has several helipads.
Like, look at how many stories tall this thing is.
Yeah, that's a legit cruise ship. That's probably based off a real one too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We got windows everywhere. We got all kinds of stuff going on back here. What appears to be a helipad or two. Maybe those are pools. Kind of hard to tell. Green pitch up here. I'm not sure what that is. And yeah, it's just
cricket.
Ridiculous. Cricket. You're gonna play baseball, sort of, out the front.
Sure, why not? It's
now, if this was my idea was like, if that's like a soccer field on the front, that's ridiculous. But either way, this would, like I said, it's his world ship, sort of. It's like, because there is nobody else there, and it would kind of be inconvenient if they're like, yeah, keep the ship here in port. We need to keep doing stuff. So presumably
he owns the port. It's probably like his family company owns that entire marina or something like that.
It kind of reminds you of the Queen Mary, maybe. The other thing is, look at that ridiculous staircase. Like the brown thing is a staircase. Like, what the hell? Like, where's that going? Like, I guess, like, because there's a crane over here for loading stuff up, so other ships could definitely work over here. That's like a second story thing, but where's it going? Also, that makes no sense, judging. Oh, we got a weird thing happening here. So look, this is only second story of the building. Staircase comes across here, and then all these stairs, but it's all on the same level. Ooh, somebody forgot their perspective. Yeah,
unless that slopes down or something.
No, it's not. It's all flat. Look.
Yeah.
That's a parking lot going straight out to the water. What is this on? Details. I'm nitpicking, damn it. It was a good episode. I just now noticed that. I was like, why is that staircase so big? It doesn't go anywhere.
And we've probably seen this scene a couple of times, but something about this particular episode, the largeness of the ship stands out.
Yeah. And so that means he can dive from the ship. It's a good joke. Is it a wireless connection? Either way, moving on.
I don't know. He could be rich enough that he could be towing like a T1 line on his boat or something.
Just always. He's got a private
satellite. I love how Nanami is, or however it's pronounced, is still just playing Secret Service agent.
Yeah. I know her name is Nanami, but they call her Nami. It's fine. Yes, she's still being Gunpla base agent. 01.
With like this super serious expression on her face too.
Yeah, even when she's just playing on her phone later.
Anyway, so
the ship is his home. Maybe
they get on there. They're in the little restaurant thing. Cosme calls out to them. They're in a little private booth inside the private restaurant, which is on the private ship.
Yeah, they could meet anywhere, and they go for this one particular spot, like it needs to be secret. Though I thought that the first time they met, it did seem like there were other people around, but we'd have to go back and
That's
check.
what I thought too. And but this area, I swear, is the same restaurant.
It is.
But maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know. It's really weird. We'll have to go back and look. So maybe there were other people on it, and they're just like, "Hey, why isn't the ship going anywhere? Get out."
Let's see.
This is my ship now.
I'm the captain.
I could steer it from my wheelchair.
So they start talking about Eldora, and Cosme is mentioning that they have 500 hours, about 3 weeks, before the cannon fires again.
Yeah,
that's not much time, so we need a proper strategy. And everyone's like, "Wow, you sound like an actual leader." It's like, guys, I am a leader.
And did you notice that his voice changed to be like his more GBN voice?
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
He got a serious voice on. That was funny. And so we found out that his weird pill bottle thing is in fact a drink.
Yes. So after they rib him a little bit about that, Parr mentions that this means they need to get to space, but the orbital elevator is probably problematic because last time it was super easy to get up there. It was and they were like, "Yeah, Alice probably let us get that like far." A trap.
Yeah,
yeah, they lured us in.
Well, that was the whole point. It's like it was all tension.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was all tension, like constipated face, and then they get there, and nothing happens. They get blue-balled. Real Cosme is so cute.
What's that?
Carlos says Cosme is cute. Don't be weird, Carlos.
Here just says that Alice will probably be making his defenses stronger. Cosme wonders how they can take out the huge canyon if they get in. And Hirato's like, well, we need to make our Gunpla stronger. Plus, they have to make more stuff for Bandai to sell.
Yes.
May mentions that the One Eyes have been getting stronger. And Hirato's like, let's also brings up the Seltsam. And then everybody gets all quiet and serious. And we get a flashback to Corridor. Now you can change the picture.
Yeah, sorry.
He mentions that Alice didn't create Seltsam, and because of that, it can attack the ruins if it wants to.
Well, in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense, but given that it is corrupted and being controlled, I mean, maybe
there's something that's preventing it, but
maybe that's why
worried about it. Then it's probably a legit worry.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe that's why he took it in the first place, to attack places he wasn't allowed to via programming. Mm-hmm. He just goes, "Hey, go do that." No.
Back to the present, Hirato says they haven't faced Seltsam since the big fight in space, but they're still going to need to deal with him even if they do stop the cannon. Parr mentions that he can just attack the ruins and relics, which we just covered.
Yes.
May says it's pure chance that they haven't even encountered him again.
Yeah, because they've realized, hey, he hasn't been around in a while. And I think they should also realize, oh, yeah, we were busy doing other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were gone from Eldora.
They were gone for a little bit, and then things happen. Then they had to go in one day, discover the island, and befriend a giant dragon. So that's what's weird about this, because we had the break. It feels like a lot of time has passed for us. But literally, it really it's a day later. It's so weird. It's like this literally the next day.
Not to mention, we've had 2 breaks.
Yeah, we had the 1 break, fine. But then we had the 4th break, which really threw everything off. It's not like they could rewrite it to be like, oh, some shit happened,
We should probably count ourselves lucky that we're, still getting all this stuff. Anyway, so Kasumi brings up Shido, saying how he really wants to help him, and everybody agrees.
Yes.
And he's like, he fought, Hirato says, he fought for Eldora. We can't abandon him.
Basically, he's like, he's one of us,
Yeah.
And
he really is.
Yeah, he's the first.
And May brings up specs for the Seltsam, excuse me. And Hirato says that while it won't be easy, they have to do something.
Yeah, because it is pretty OP. The rest of the One Eyes.
When we commented before, it's like secondary laser weapons on its legs just completely wiped them out pretty much. And that wasn't even its primary weapon.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, for those commenting. I skipped ahead. He's not there yet. It's just easier for me to just change it now.
Okay. And Cosby's listening closely, and he says he has something about that. He pulls out what I'm assuming are the primed parts for his new build, as well as a notebook that has all the plans for it. Yeah, and everyone is very impressed.
Yeah, so they're like, "Hey, you got a new kit going." He's like, "Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be enough." And then Hirato's even like, "Wow, you've actually grown a bit as a builder. I still like what you're going on." He's like, "Yes, but I need your help because I kind of like the idea of it being able to compact and swap weapons and stuff like that. So, I could really use your help with that." So the fact that like the most prideful person out of the entire group just asked for help. And so that's why he gave Hirato the book with the plans. So he can say, look, hey, this is how you need to modify it to be able to transform, which we know it has a flight mode. So they already got that. But I guess he wanted to have swappable, interchangeable weapons. So there's probably a lot more going on with it than we know already.
And this entire interaction, I think, is really cool because, and this is something that you've mentioned before about Build Divers, particularly the original Build Divers series before ReRISE. We didn't have as much of the building part. It was all the diving and fighting and stuff like that. So actually getting to see them talking about their builds, consulting each other about ideas and parts and stuff like that. Yeah. It feels real for one, and it adds that sort of missing element that was actually really common in Build Fighters and Build Fighters Try.
Yeah, so we can see there
not
that
as much Try, but Build Fighters first series in particular.
Well, no, in Try they remember they had a whole episode devoted to them upgrading and changing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, at least.
It's been a while.
Well, and then there was even when after what's his face got into the big fight and he wanted to improve the build burning, and then Shia helped him and taught him how to reinforce the joints and make it stronger and stuff like that. So you saw him actually kind of working on it, mostly sanding things, which, it's almost like in video games when you have something improved and they just bang a hammer on it and then it's just suddenly better and upgraded. That's what sanding does in the Fighters universe. You literally sand the part and it gets better. Because
in Gunpla, that's like the shorthand for I'm working on this piece.
Yeah. So remember
closely and using a sanding stick.
So if you remember all the way back to the final battle, whenever they use the tri-burning with all the parts from everybody else, and they show the flashback of they're like, we had to rebuild them basically from the ground up to be interchangeable, and really all you saw them doing was sanding the parts. That's right. Like, we sanded it, it's fine. We sanded it, now it fits. And it's kind of true. So really what they're going to do, they're going to go in, they're going to take all those prime parts for the Aegis Knight, which is already ridiculously customized, probably to this degree, and he's going to build this ridiculous shield, and then all he's going to do is just go, and it'll be fine. I haven't yet to see them sanding things. Oh, we did see them painting. There was painting in this episode with a brush.
Sort of. Well, actually, no, yeah, you're right. We'll see that in the, there's a montage that comes up.
Gonna need a montage. presumably from the beginning of this episode to the end of this episode was at least a few days. Performance enhancing. Anyway. Oh yeah, I forgot. I needed to do the t-shirt design for the emotional breakthrough equals sudden badass. I need to make that shirt.
Let's see. So we talked about everybody is all impressed with Cosme and he's helping things out. Par asks if they can ask Kuradorn to help them. And Cosme's like, dude, his wing, did you not see it? And Par's like, I know, but he wants to see if he can repair the wings with the power of Gunpla. That's effectively what he's saying. Yes, it is. You can shake your head all you want.
Stupid. I don't care if it works. It's stupid. I mean, he even said he would heal. He just needed time. He's like, we don't have time for you to get better, old man. We're going to make you a new wing.
we're young and impulsive, and we need to do things now.
Well, to be fair, I doubt Parr has ever really had to wait for things. But you know what? He's going to stand up for his beliefs.
Ooh.
In GBN. I can make fun of him now.
I was going to say something about like he's going to have to wait to walk, but...
No, he flies in GBN. That's why he stays in GBN all the time. Arturo Javiano is finally here. Finally.
Welcome.
40 minutes in. Where have you been? By the way, guys, hold on. Sorry. I need to see some likes. We got like 40 people watching last week. We only had like 16 likes. Hit the thumbs up buttons. Let YouTube know we're doing a good job around here. Can I repair my hairline with the power of Gunpla or my waistline? Waistline? Sand it. Hairline? Sand it. Just apply a file to it. Just hold on. Yeah.
Ow!
No, it's fine. It repairs. Magically it grows. It grows as you sand it.
Anyway,
you're thinking about it now. Hold on, wait. Do I have my file out? No, I don't. Damn it. I was gonna say I'll work on my bald spot here.
So we're back at Eldora.
Yes. Oh, okay, so we're gonna jump back. We're at Mount Milog, right?
Right.
Okay, so they keep showing it from a distance, right?
Right.
What the hell are those?
Trees?
No, the colored things. Hold on, I gotta make that full screen. I don't know if I can zoom in. Hold on, let me see if it zooms in. What are those?
What is that?
Uh-huh. That is clearly some type of red Gunpla and something that looks like May to some degree. But it's outside. And they showed it twice. Every time they showed Milog from a distance in this episode, those were there. I don't know what those are. I think it's from a previous cut. There's a reused shot. I think it's the Mars 4. I think it's the Mars 4.
Because it looks like it's got two things sticking off of the back. I'm talking about the red one.
Yeah. I know it's going to be terrible on your screen. I got it as good as I could. But it's definitely a big red Gunpla for sure. I think it's the Mars 4, and I think that's May.
So
it's either May or
first arrived on Mount Milog.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, dude. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know. And it stood out like a sore thumb to me when this image popped up. I was like, because they hadn't arrived yet.
Yeah.
Those are just sitting there. They hadn't arrived. Core Gundam 2 Black Shield, but I don't know what that says. Basically, Cordon's wing is now sand. Yes, his wing is made of sand. Yeah, I don't know what those are. It's definitely a reused shot, or perhaps it's a shot from later. But it's weird.
Very much so.
Yeah. Now that I've derailed things. Could it be Valkylander and Justice Knight? I don't think so, because Valkylander wouldn't be taller than Justice Knight. This is either a reused shot or a shot that they need to use later. But they clearly forgot to paint whatever those are out.
Or just turn off that layer, because it's all digital.
Yeah, it's the layer, yeah. But yeah, no, those are Gunpla, definitely sitting there. No idea what they're from. It's just funny. I just had to point it out.
Anyway, so we're back to Eldora.
Hold on. Let me address things real quick. Jerry, that doesn't mean that this scene is from something that has previously happened. They may have realized they needed this shot and pulled it from an episode later. Because all it is a quick panning shot of Milog. I don't know.
I do want to say when Hirito and May showed up, Hirito was using the Mars 4.
No, he wasn't. He was in the core by itself. The core 2.
That's right.
So it was only May, but also that hair is silver. Oh yeah, May's hair is silver in that body. That's right.
In mobile doll form, she's silver. Yeah.
Wait, is her hair silver? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It is. It changes. I had to remember. We never see her from the back anymore. But yeah, I mean, it could be that, but that doesn't even look like the core Gundam. Not really. It's weird.
Weird.
Yeah. I mean, that would have to be what it is, but it doesn't look like that. We'll have to go back to that episode later and see. Either way, moving on, they're inside the thing and people are starting to show up.
So we see Cosme and May appearing there with their Gunpla. Cosme has a petite guy for some reason.
Hold on. You're jumping ahead. Ah! It won't let me move forward. Hold on. I can't move forward.
You broke it.
I did break it. Hold on. I have to
fix it.
I have to remove it for a second.
Fix it.
I know what happened is when I zoomed in, it didn't like that. Hold on. I gotta close that and bring it back. Where are we? There we go. Yeah, so the first thing we actually see is the Justy Knight, or Justy guy.
Just a guy.
Up.
Just a guy.
I'm just a guy. We're both
I'm just
on
a
that
guy.
one.
I'm not a hero.
Is he a Hiroto? There we go. So yeah,
it's not Hiroto.
Now, is this a weird perspective shot? Because I could have sworn that the Justy guy was a little bit bigger than that.
They're closer to the camera, so they're.
That's what I'm guessing, because like normally he would have appeared right there near its feet or whatever, but it doesn't appear that large. It's a weird perspective shot.
Yeah, it would have been better if maybe they had like buzzed him out like he was out of focus or something like that.
Yeah,
but you can't obscure the product.
Yeah, well, we already seen it.
And do they ever explain why he's using the Just a Guy?
Because the Justice Knight is probably torn apart to make the Aegis Knight.
Okay, that makes sense. He's in
between Gunpla. This is the only other one he's got. So instead of building something totally new,
start over with a new kit or something like that, not cannibalize the old one.
I assume he cannibalized it to some degree, or else he would have brought it. It would have made more sense. I don't know. Or maybe,
from my perspective, I wouldn't want to tear down my custom that I worked on for a long time to turn it into something else. I just buy a new kit.
Well, does May bring her? May doesn't bring her Wodan pod. She just comes in as herself.
Specifically, right? Yes, yeah.
I think they were just trying to save sand with smaller things.
That's possible.
Even though there's a shit ton. It's there's no purpose to it. Yeah.
So we see May and Cosme appear. Everyone greets one another. We see there's some scaffolding next to Kuodon, which disappears later.
Hold on. I just discovered
way later in the episode.
That's your picture that's in the wrong spot, is what that is. That's your fault. That's your dumb picture titles. Yeah. That's the picture I was going for. But yeah, actually, I had a screenshot of the scaffolding, but it got overridden by a different picture, so I don't have that shot anymore.
Oh, and Freddy asks Cosme if the thing can fly, and he's like, "It has a cape. Of course it can fly." And I love that line.
Well, technically speaking, isn't that how his flies otherwise? Because the cape is part of his flight pack.
Yeah, and he has a little miniature version of the flight pack.
Yes. Yeah, but I love this shot of Freddy with the just totally confused face. Like, where's Hiroto and Par? We're right here.
Yeah, and they explain that this is just how they can look sometimes.
The diver look. Why is it called a diver look? I think we talked about this before.
It sounds like something from like that would have been used in like a Japanese online RPG game, which that's what GN is.
What I also found amusing about this whole chunk is that they came in as Haro. Wait, is Haro plural? Have we talked about?
I don't know, to be honest.
I don't want to be offensive to the Haro race. Haro. Well, you always say Haros, but it almost sounds weird. Either way, so they come in as Haropla. There we go. We'll get around it that way.
Yeah.
To use the Haropla equipment that they use. So we finally actually got to see something that was sold to us, actually used in a show. I would love to see the
mobile Haro.
The mobile Haro would be awesome. I have a feeling it was probably blipped on screen during the fight and we just missed it.
I would not be surprised.
But They came in here to use them as equipment instead of just using their Gunpla. I found that interesting. And also the fact they had to come in a diver look form, which
to
that
control
means
those things.
Hold on, here's the weird part. Those are now living Haros. Because remember, it registers everything that comes through as a life form. So those Haros are technically alive.
That makes the scene later on all the more disturbing.
Yep. The weirdo scene that we saw from the preview last week. Hey, we're up to 32.
Yeah, so they explained that it's like this is just how they are looking right now, and it doesn't help Freddy. He's still super confused.
Yeah.
Moving forward a bit, we see that the Haros are using the Haro loader and the Haro fitter. I had to look up what the other one was called.
Okay, what happened here? Hold on. Why am I having weird glitches?
Are my pictures messing you up? This is what I get for helping.
Oh, I see why. Because you had that picture in there and I didn't see it. Okay. I was confused. That picture wasn't supposed to be there. I had the exact same picture. That's what's funny. So once again, guys, his pictures are intruding upon mine. So now I have to go through and delete them so I can not be annoyed by them anymore. See, like this one, I just realized is totally in the wrong spot. There we go. See, I missed a few. There were some that I upgraded and put them in the right spot. But either way, this is our Haro loader, as piloted by Hinata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, what does the body of a Haro feel like? And do they roll around like Haros? How do you perceive that as a human driving the thing? Do they have omniscient sight and they just see whatever direction, like it's a see-through ball? No pun intended. I get it when they're in the equipment, but otherwise, are they floating? Are they rolling? How do Haros work in this universe? I'm disturbed by this because, yeah, it is people who become Haros. Oh, was Mobile Haro in the girl-focused episode? Oh, I think it was. I think it was in, yeah.
The one with the race?
Yeah. Where it was a female-only competition.
And that's also the episode where we see Diver Nami.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think it was in there, but not very long. It wasn't like featured. It was just on screen. I think it was holding up stuff. I think he's right. Can you be that one Haro with the one giant arm and the cell phone? I don't know what that is.
That's from the same thing that I think Char Chicken comes from.
Oh, I got you.
But I should be careful mentioning his name.
He might hear you.
Yeah.
Actually. Actually.
That was pretty good. I'm surprised you did. Okay.
Well,
so,
I've been around him long enough. I can imitate his voice pretty well.
Anyway, so Freddie asked if May could do this too, talking about being a Haro. And she said she could, but it'd be troublesome, which I'm not quite sure what she talks about for that. I guess because she's an L diver, maybe it's a little bit harder for her.
Yeah, because she's going into a real body, technically speaking. It's her real body. But yeah, there's the what was the other one called?
The Haro fitter. I had to look it up because I was going to call them both Haro loaders. But I was like, no, they probably used a different name for it. And Haro fitter is what I think USA Gundam Store calls the kit.
Yeah, I need to get that one too.
Yeah, I like the look of this one, and part of me wonders if the thing on the back is like the refrigerator backpack off of.
I think it's got to be it. It's got to have fittings for weapons, or not weapons, tools, because it has a welder. It has all kinds of stuff. So that's why it's a fitter. It's basically they're avoiding giving us the carols that we want from 00.
Yeah, because that thing is so close to it, but still super far away.
Yeah, still not. Yeah. The carols are actually kind of a combination of these two.
Which that must make it even more annoying.
Yeah, it's like it's halfway there. Looks like Snowball from Rick and Morty a little bit. It kind of looks like Snowball's robot body. Not gonna lie. If it had a visor, huh?
I haven't seen. I've only seen like a handful of Rick and Morty. So
handful of SpongeBob, handful of Rick and Morty. What are you doing with your life?
Watching anime.
It's on Hulu. Go watch Rick and Morty.
Star Trek.
I swear to God, if my wife has watched more Rick and Morty than you, then you're fired.
Okay.
It's okay. I have your notes.
Yeah, you've been making wonderful use of them.
Hold on, wait. Oh no, what happened to Rodimus? He said he quit.
Anyway, so May mentions that she could equip like items that would give her ears and a tail.
Someone needs to animate it.
Yep, somebody needs to do that if they haven't already.
Someone needs to draw Eldora May. She would they would think that she's one of them. I mean, why not? That's why they like Par so much. They think Par is actually kind of one of them. Fluffy tail.
I like his tail too.
Would May have a like sleek tail or like a fluffy tail?
I would picture her with like tail more like Maya, so like a cat tail.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, because
I could see her. Though I could also see her having like a very sort of like a shaggy wolf tail.
I would think that either the very sleek tail, like Maya, because of her hair, you couldn't have like a big floofy tail with her hair. Now, if they had a way to like make her hair a ponytail or something, and then give her like a big fluffy tail as well, that would work. Because you can't have like big fluffy tail and long hair like that. It would just it would be a mess. Do they perceive and feel their tails?
I would imagine.
So Par can feel his tail being petted by the kids.
I'm pretty sure because he's reacted to people touching his tail and he doesn't necessarily like it.
I think he just doesn't like it because it's weird. I don't know if he's ever mentioned that it has a sensation, because how does GBN fake the feeling of an appendage you don't have?
They ask Mika.
It's not the AV system. I don't know how I ever got along without a tail. Par can feel his legs, yes, but his brain knows what it's like to have legs. The brain doesn't know what a tail feels like. That's what I'm getting at. The show gets weirder if you really start breaking it down. It's like, at least other full dive shows don't get into the weird reality of you turning into other weird things, especially, inanimate things or things that don't have appendages. Like a Haro, I guess it has appendages. Oh, maybe would they be walking around? No, they didn't show them with arms and legs. They're just doing the thing.
I mean, they have the flaps and they're Haros, so and we know
theory they have
Haros they are, so we know that they can have
wheels at least. Yeah, but they don't have feet technically. They kind of have wheels. It wouldn't work on sand. Let's just be honest.
Well, no, those aren't wheels. Those are like just weird feet. It's just the Haropla doesn't do a good job of duplicating it.
Yeah, I just gotta wonder what is the sensation, especially on Eldora. What is the sensation of being a Haro? It's just weird. You got to think about it. Those are organic Haros, technically speaking.
I have no mouth and I must scream.
Yeah, because they're technically only talking by lighting up their eyes. Like, why do they even open in half, except for the fact that they are the computer version? Moving on. They're built a wing.
So Freddy's confused again. Kurdorn asks Par for an explanation of what they're doing. Par says they know that Gunpla parts as they leave stay there, so he's going to use Gunpla to fix his wing, and they start laying out all the parts. And part of me wonders if these are actual Gunpla parts or just custom things, because some of those pieces look familiar.
That does look like, because remember he was working on a Wing Zero custom. It does look almost like some Freedom 2.0 wing parts, from what I'm looking at there. But
like
also
that one at the, I'm pointing like you can see what I'm talking about. The one that's on the topmost right side, that's sort of kind of upside down L shaped or J shape or something like that. I swear I've seen that part before. But
you said upper right? This?
No, sorry, left.
This?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like a wing. That's like a wing part. I don't know. Some of it. This right here looks a lot like one of the wing. Oh wait, you know what? Somebody said it in the comments. They're Penelope parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is the tail of the Penelope, isn't it? At least the big part is.
Yeah, you're right, because I remember I haven't built that, but I saw your copy of it.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm in charge.
100% that is a Penelope tail. He's building a wing out of an HG Penelope tail.
That would make sense, because if you want
to find something big enough,
HG seems to be the default sizing for build for GBN. You need a big ass wing. Where are you going to go except for one of the largest Gundams ever made?
Carlos, no, the Gunplas would not be organic as they're registered as machines. They're not coming through as part of the people. These are representations of the divers. They're not coming in as Gunpla. They don't exist and then Haro. They are the Haro. That's why I said these Haro are technically things. Yes, that is at least mostly Penelope tail. There's probably some extra bits in there.
Yeah.
I knew I'd built that.
Like I said, it's like those parts just look super familiar to me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I never built the Penelope, so that's why.
I'm sorry. We've been saying it wrong. They're Penelope parts.
I'm not calling it that.
You are going to call it that.
No.
The HG Penelope.
Moving on.
I was trying to point out, look at the size difference to the Haro loader.
Yeah.
Like,
that makes me a little sad. That shows that the Haro loader is not.
I call 100% bullshit that Haro loader is moving those parts. Bullshit. It's like, maybe if they brought in a real mobile worker, but I assume that this is why, like, that they didn't bring their Gunpla if they needed to bring in parts.
Yeah.
How he registered a pile of plastic pieces as not items. I guess technically if they associated it to the Haro loader, which is they're using as a Gunpla. God, this is a weird mind-bending episode. So the loader and the fitter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're technically the Gunpla they're using. So everything else they brought, they would have had to associate to said Gunpla to be able to bring them in. And presumably everybody brought a chunk somehow. Because one person bringing that much shit. Also, could you imagine somebody just rolling in with a Penelope? Like, looking at Kuadorn, what up?
See, like, part of me is just imagining like their Gunpla walking around holding all these parts or something like that, getting ready to head to Eldora, but that's not how it works usually. But I'm just the image of them wandering around holding stacks of giant Gunpla parts while other people are going, what the heck are they doing?
Well, in theory, if they're in the hub at GBN, they're just normal. And it's just once they port into somewhere else. But then again, maybe if they signed in as Diver Look with Gump, I don't know how they made this happen. Let's just be honest. Doesn't make sense.
I mean, we've known in the past that people can show up as Haros because
we know that's
what happened to what's her name at the
Momo.
her first appearance.
Yeah, we know that Momo came in that way. That's fine, but she didn't pilot a Gunpla while doing it. No, I don't believe that. Did she?
Remember the Momo Kapul had the Petite Momo or Petite Kapul or whatever inside of it.
Yeah, but that's not her Haro Look piloting it. That was her piloting that. But what I'm saying is, she didn't pilot a Gunpla as a Haro. Now, we know they can, but with their hands. Because he brought up the point earlier that Kirishima, or whatever his name is, Tsukishima, could do it. Tsukasa. Damn it. I'm getting everybody's names. I've been watching too much Bleach. Tsukasa was piloting all of his Gunpla at the time with his evil Haro. So you can pilot a Gunpla with your Haro Look.
That's right. I forgot.
But it's fucking weird. Because they brought in these gigantic parts. But now we have scale to show how big the Haro loader would be compared to the HG Penelope.
Which makes a certain amount of sense because it is something being piloted by a Haro.
Yes. Either way, this is when they find out that good old Muran wants to come and visit, so somebody needs to go pick him up because apparently he's out of balloons.
And Cosmi's like, yeah, sure, I'll go get him.
Yeah. He just go fly, go get him. It's fine.
So, and we cut to see the Justice guy zooming through the sky, holding the basket. He does loops and stunts, and he's having a grand old time.
Like a dick. Like, all I could think was, like, he forgot that Muran was in the basket. That's all I could think. It's like he definitely forgot. Now, here's the size.
Part of me wants to believe that he let Maya get behind the controls somehow. And that's why it's doing all those flips and stuff like that, because it's like when she went initial D behind when she got behind the wheel of the car.
Well, that comes down to, can anyone else pilot the Gunpla who did not sign in through it? Because technically speaking, they're controlling it with their controls.
Yeah.
Sort of. It's a
That's
weird
why
world, man.
I would like to believe that. So far, nothing in the universe has said that can happen, but it amuses me.
Yeah. Yeah, people say Kuadorn is now updated to Kuadorn Repair. So he's Kuadorn R1. Well, no, technically, with no wing would just be R1. This is R2. Kuadorn R2. R2 Kuadorn 2.
So he lands in the shrine. He
damn it.
Carefully sets the basket down, and we finally get to see them getting out of their Gunpla for like the first time in this entire season of Build Divers.
Yes. But what I found interesting is that he makes the Justice guy disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering why.
It disappears and they reappear.
Yeah.
Which also means that and Maya does the reappear thing.
Say Maya.
Which is
say Maya.
Weird. Maya?
Thank you. Anyways, no, but it is strange. So he was outside of it earlier when he arrived. He could pilot it. We know he pilots it like a normal Gunpla. We could see the size of it. It makes sense. It has a cockpit in the head, more than likely. But why make it disappear other than one less thing to animate on screen, or just one less cell to have out or layer? I mean, are we just cutting the budget today? Is that what's happening?
I wouldn't be surprised if there are things for cutting the budget, considering everything that happened in the world.
I mean, you got to remember, a lot of this was animated already. They probably couldn't do the voice acting. But the anime, because we got teasers from some of this shit happening weeks ago. So they've had a lot of this animation ready to go. So just why make it disappear other than to just get it off the screen?
It almost feels as if, because we also see this effect later on, it almost feels as if they are reminding us that this is a thing that they can do.
Well, this is a thing that we've talked about last week. How do they get in and out of the Gunpla? And this is the first time we see it. Literally, the first time ever we've seen them get in or out of their Gunpla. And then this is the only time we've ever seen one of the Gunpla just disappear. Because I guess they're based here. They're only doing stuff here, so they don't need their Gunpla. They can just come in and out.
Well, and we know from original Build Divers that they can dismiss their Gunpla whenever they want and then make it reappear whenever they want. Because it's all part of the system.
Yeah, but they can't do that when they're away from the temple because there's no sand to make it pop back up and no incarnation system that only exists within said temple.
And it's a weird detail that it feels like, it's like, yes, they've shown us this. It doesn't make the question any more answerable.
It makes sense in the temple. Outside of the temple, it doesn't make much sense. Well, this action, getting in and out of it does make sense because it's still actively GBN, somehow working in tandem.
They can bring up their screens and they can access the GBN wiki and
so I feel like at the core of this planet is like a giant computer system, and it's just allowing this to happen everywhere.
Considering what the moon was like, we saw.
Yeah.
Again, and I keep on repeating myself, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where we get some hilarity because we have to be reminded this funny stuff.
He lands at the shrine, carefully sets the basket down.
Carefully sets it down.
Yeah.
Not so careful when flying.
It fades away. We see them, the pilot and the passenger appear, and Kazumi and Mayo were inside the Justice guy, which means Muran was in the basket.
Yeah.
He
Why
comes out of the
couldn't
basket
he
looking a little
ride?
more rare.
Why couldn't he ride in the cockpit? I guess it can only have 2 people. I think they sort of said that there was only room for Maya in the cockpit. He sort of alluded to that. There are small
Maya
cockpits.
apologizes, saying something about like, it's because I'm sorry, it's because he let me ride in the thing.
Also, he looks so bad. That poor bastard.
He looks like he's just gonna say, it's like, I'm just gonna stay here and die now. Thank you. Bye. And you know the bottom of that thing is probably completely filled with his own body.
Yeah. People keep saying that we saw them teleport into Gunpla in other episodes. I don't recall that.
I don't either, because it's been something that we've wondered about several times.
Yeah.
Provide timestamps for us.
No, don't do that because I won't go look it up. Although, real quick, I wanted to look something up. Just a second. Come on, machine. My phone's going very sleepy right now. Very, very sleepy.
Oh, excuse me.
Don't yawn.
I'll yawn if I want to.
Read the comments.
No.
Do it. I want to see something real quick.
Let me see the chat.
It doesn't like you.
Let me see the chat. Okay, Muron Blue Chunks. Muron looks like Tom after a few run-ins with Jerry.
Yeah.
The
Definitely
one
looks
where
like a
they
wet
fight
cat.
underwater. I guess somebody's saying. Meanwhile, Kuradon sees Muron and stifles a chuckle. Yes.
Okay, all I was really wanting to see was how they animated Milog in that scene when the Justy guy appeared. Because, it shows him flying. I think it's the same shot, and they just keep zooming in or out, but you don't see the Gunpla sitting there.
Muron deserves misery.
That's not nice. When they fight underwater. I don't remember that. Wait, were they on Eldora, or was that the one where they were training underwater? Asking for a friend. It makes sense if they were in GBN and they did it. That wasn't on Eldora. We're talking about when they're on Eldora. We know they teleport in and out otherwise. We've seen that. Okay, we're good
We've always kind of assumed that that's how it works, but then we see like the Gunpla hanging out with them walking away from it.
Yeah.
So it's always weird.
Yeah,
anyway,
they're always walking away, so they must teleport within range of it to some degree. I want to see them come down on the little hand descendy thing. Yeah.
To be honest, I don't see why they don't have that be a thing in GBN, because that, if I were playing a massive online game where I pretend to be a Gundam pilot, I would want the full experience. That includes climbing up the mobile suit or using the little ladder thing or the little retractable thing.
Yeah. All right. So this is where we see fitment of the new wing parts.
Yeah. Maya is amazed to see. So the Corona seems to be impressed with what they've been able to accomplish. Maya is amazed to be seeing a real sacred beast in the flesh. She starts to properly introduce herself, but Kuradon interrupts her, calling her the level-headed sister who cooks well.
I feel like you're skipping ahead just ever so slightly, but that's okay. You're skipping ahead of my pictures, I should say. So just real quick. So we see actual construction of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's putting in a giant screw. Because.
Which is weird, because particularly if they're using HG parts, where are they getting screws from?
I don't know. This part made no sense. But I love the fact that in the next one, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen, that you actually see it painting.
Yes.
Which is interesting. So he's color matched the wing color. And then so this is what they got so far. How they got this from everything else, I don't even know.
Yeah, that's something that bugs me about this, is like none of this matches up to all the parts they have.
No, so it's like it makes no sense, because we saw him working with Wing Zero wings. Maybe that's where he started, and then maybe it just wasn't going to be good enough, so he wanted to be able to do something. So you're telling me with the parts for the Penelope, they somehow scratch built a wing inside this with the tools they had, so to speak.
Particularly since they've made comments before about how you can't build stuff in GBN. It has to be the Gunpla that you scan in. That's why the changes that were made to Seltsam were so weird.
Yeah. You can't alter the appearance of something. But they're technically altering the plastic that's made of sand. Right.
Which is made from the Jabro dirt.
Also, where did the scaffolding come from?
Where did the scaffolding go?
We're not talking about where things go yet. Because half of this episode makes no sense. It does seem like they did things out of order. And yeah, I think they did have to truncate some of the story and script due to constraints. But after we go through this whole bit here of wing construction montage, and then we talk about Maya here in a second. But we get this shot where May is actually helping. So she's actually giving them a boost, which is cool. Like, I can see how...
Where is the scaffolding? That was right there where May is standing.
We don't need the scaffolding anymore. We have a May.
And like you said, where did the scaffolding come from before? I mean, it
was already there.
Or brought it in, but that feels like he would have explained what they were doing beforehand.
Yeah, no, he's explained now because he actually had to ask permission to build the wing for him, which we did sort of skip over that. He literally tells him, "Look, I can build you a wing out of Gunpla parts." I think you did mention that. And they said, like, Gunpla, people of the Gunpla have weird ideas.
Yeah. Did I skip that?
You mentioned it, but I think you talked about it as referring to May changing herself, not the wing construction.
Anyway.
Yeah, but the champ technically disguising his age 2 as a Darkhound could have literally been he had both and could switch.
Yeah.
Theory. I know it came off like an armored shell, but you know, I don't know.
He could also have physically done that to his kit.
Yeah, but it changed from one to the other, so who knows? But the Seltsam is like a mutation. That's the thing. But this, where they're completely scratch building this bullshit wing, which you can see some of the parts, but it makes no sense. The fact that the scaffolding appears and then doesn't get used.
Now, all this complaining and nitpicking aside, I do like this scene. I love this idea that they are using Gunpla to help this, eldritch beast, ancient god thing.
I do think I think that this was in a different order, and they did what they could to chop it together to make some kind of scene that made sense. Like, I don't think the scaffolding was supposed to be there initially, obviously. I do think they were supposed to use the parts they brought in, sort of, but he also says, "Hey, I built you a wing," or whatever, and then they show what we recognize as random bits and pieces of something else. And now we get fitted, color matched, custom built wing.
It feels like this should have been spread out longer.
And it's clearly like the same day because they have dinner. They have dinner.
Yeah.
And Maya's not going to leave the kids and everybody else unattended for that long. It does seem like they probably combined a couple different episodes. Like, I bet the final fitment that we're sort of seeing was supposed to be in next week's episode. I think that this was supposed to be like construction, like, and finagling, and it was never supposed to be seen to near completion. But there was nothing in between, which leads to animation errors after this that also make no sense.
Okay, so what's the next picture?
The next picture is where he is talking to Maya, talking about she's the one who can cook well or whatever, is kind.
The level-headed sister who cooks well, and she agrees, embarrasses, tries to be a bit more humble, and then he says, "I also hear you're fussy and short-tempered," and I have written down, and that's when Maya murdered everyone in the room.
No, she specifically murdered Freddy, because what does Freddy have to do other than constantly talk Kudorn's ear off? If he could fly, he would leave. Freddy is stuck there. Moron somehow just ran off the edge all Wile E. Coyote style.
Yeah.
And obviously the
Goofy.
divers brought him back up, yeah. Let's be real. This wing was made out of plug plate. Yes, we are all in agreement to that.
And if they had brought in like just huge sheets of plug plate, I would have bought it. Really,
which actually makes sense when we see the loader grab what looked to just be a big sheet.
The sheet of plug plate, yeah.
Yeah, the scene with the Penelope parts makes no sense. It's like maybe without that we would believe this. Cut that one. And I'd be like, oh, cool. We would just edit in a pile of somewhat customized parts. And we'd be okay with it.
Or even just, like I said, like just a sheet of plug plate and maybe have one scene where you see them using like scissors or something to cut out
presumably they would just use a blade. Well, here's the thing. It's not coming across, in theory, as plate. It's probably coming across as metal because it's got durability to it. Whatever translates to be metal. So they would have to use metal working tools
like
to make this happen.
Torch or something. Yeah.
Yeah, which we know that he has a torch. But no, this whole construction scene thematically makes no sense. Well, thematically makes sense, but the way it works doesn't. But yeah, Maya's very angry at Freddy.
Yeah. Freddy diffuses the situation by offering everyone food.
Oh, yeah, food. That thing.
They all agree. Freddy and Hinata actually coming down to partake.
What was it? Hold on. What was this scene here? Was he trying to calm her down? You had these pictures. These weren't mine.
That's from. I don't know if that's one of mine, but that's from.
It was.
Oh, okay. That's from a little bit later.
No, because
it's in the scene, but I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, where she jams food in his face.
Yeah. So. May and Moran are confused who Freddy and Hinata are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Kazumi asks Maya why she's in such a good mood, and Freddy says it's because she's always dreamed of meeting a sacred beast. Because they're like, oh, it must be like meeting a celebrity you admire. And Maya gets all embarrassed and shoves a loaf of bread in his mouth, saying it's like, eat quieter. I think it even makes like a boom sound as it goes to his mouth.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Where am I at? I'm just looking ahead on my pictures here. Okay, then we get into the we're really throwing disbelief out the window. Everybody sits down to eat, including the Haro people.
Yes.
People of the Haro.
And I have written down here in the notes. Speaking of putting things in mouths, we see May feeding Par and Hinata. And the scene
makes sense.
The food itself looks a little weird.
Brown blob number 3.
Yeah. And we see him put those in their mouths and they start
chewing.
And
how are they hungry? They're not really. Everything about becoming Haros makes no sense. Why would they eat? What the fuck? Hey, we've only topped out at like 30 this week.
Feed me.
I wonder where everybody is this week. We're topping out at only like 30.
We're topping out where?
At 30. We had like almost 40 this time last week.
It was a good episode last week. This one,
maybe it was
a bad episode, but it's not nearly as important, I would say.
That was only like 45 minutes or so for people to even know. Food become data transfer into the brain, so they think they're being fed.
I mean,
that's fucking weird.
And this is something we've talked about before. That's weird and interesting that they
in game would make sense.
They have taste receptors and
smell receptors.
They all don't think anything about the fact that they are munching on food and drinking drinks.
GBN has gotten too real. GBN has gotten so real that you can eat actual food as a Haro, and your brain back in your body thinks you ate something, so that you stop being hungry, because presumably they've been there for hours. Once again, we go over the real world weirdness of people sitting in dive pods for hours on end.
Those chairs must be hella comfy.
Where do they go to the bathroom? And also, these are real bodies.
No.
These are real bodies that they're in, technically speaking, on Eldora. Never mind. I don't want to think about what happens when you use your real body on another planet to use the bathroom. What happens with your real body back in Earth?
Anyway,
this incarnation system really fucks things up.
So the two enjoy the food as May asks if Corridor is gonna eat anything. Maya looks up, wondering what the answer is, and Corridor is like, "I don't need to eat. I just feed off the energy of the land."
Did Carlos? Hold on. Carlos just said something really strange.
How would Cosme know what
A
the goat smells like? Are there goats in Japan? I'm pretty sure.
I'm fairly certain there are.
At the very least, he's probably been to a petting zoo or something.
Yeah, zoos exist. And in theory, he's been on a boat and gone around the world probably with his dad and has experienced things. But I'm fairly certain there are goats in fictional Japan. In theory, there should be. Plus, doesn't everybody know?
Why are we talking about goats?
They're talking about where he mentioned that he smelled like a goat.
Okay.
When he said Freddy smelled like a goat or whatever.
Anyway, so Cosme prods the literal dragon, being like, "Come on, eat it. Her cooking's great."
Which gets creepy.
What's that?
Which gets a little creepy because he's like leaning over, and then you go, "Oh yeah, this is a giant beast who's coming down to eat off of her chopsticks or whatever."
Yeah.
This is both a really sweet and super creepy scene.
He has a teeny tiny mouth, at least in comparison to the rest of his head. I
said that's not his whole mouth. That's just the tip. And now we know he has more of a beak. Oh God, we're going back to beaks. What's the inside of Corridor's beak look like?
You don't want to know. Actually, the detail that we see in here shows that it's smooth.
In theory. It is weird because we talked about it when we first saw him. He talks with no mouth, so he's projecting somehow. Probably.
Yeah, so we just kind of figured. In my head, I always kind of figured like maybe like the weird little whisker things maybe vibrated or something like that, and that's how he was making noise or something.
No, I think it's all.
He has an actual mouth, and he can actually eat the food, which he thinks is delicious, by the way.
Okay, so he says he just literally gets fed by the energy of the land, which makes sense. He's a non-living entity, technically speaking, or a not organic entity, so he doesn't have to eat. But he was given the ability to eat and digest. Once again, ancients, who knows what the hell they were doing? Who the hell came up with him in the first place? Just some kid. It's gonna have big old wings.
He's a dragon, and he's got wings that are made out of feathers, and I got all these shiny little jewels all over him because they're sparkling. I like them.
You went from like a kid to like a New Jersey guy. It was weird. Like he's so big. Like he's always usually standing like up. Like
and we very rarely get a full grasp of his scale next to somebody because it's usually just him in a shot.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fair point, Ben. Yeah, it's confirmed. Kuodorn poops. If he can eat, it can poop.
Here's a shirt for you.
That's a twist on if it bleeds, it can die. If it eats, it can poop. But either way, so she always thought that the sacred beast existed, wanted to always meet him, realizes now that he's incredibly what used to be very annoyed by the existence of small people, and now is so relaxed around them that he's like, fine, I'll eat the garbage. I don't actually need to eat that, but to be polite to you, I'll try it. It's actually really good. He doesn't have to do any of that. He's a sacred giant machine thing of nature. Yeah. And for some reason, he's like, I like these people of the Gunpla because they're fixing my wing. But wait, why did they take the fixes away? As they show coming up. Is Kuodorn the source of the magic sand? No, the sand is not his poop. And no, it's not his litter box. Also, were there other sacred beasts in the other temples at some point in time, or is he the only one that has ever existed?
I've always assumed that there were other sacred beasts, and for whatever reason, they're gone.
See, Jerry said, "Why does your impression of a kid sound like an older Jewish lady from New York?" No, I've already done the old Jewish lady from New York voice. Either way.
So he says it's delicious. She's happy.
Hey, Goros is alive.
Yeah, so back at the blanket, Hinata asks how the evacuation is going, and Moran says everything's good, but there's some people that are upset about it.
We'll just skip ahead to the fact that Goros is alive. We know he should have been alive because he wasn't at the city that was destroyed.
Yeah, he was apparently badly injured and has been traveling around gathering weapons and troops.
Yeah, so he's still trying. Well, we know the orbital elevator is still alive, so the Silver Tower is still there. Yes, it's still alive. Also, how convenient for Goros that he only lost the eye that was already gone.
That's right. He had a... Unless that was just for show.
He conveniently got fucked up on the side he was already fucked up on. We're not talking about magic poop sand anymore, guys. Also, would this be kinetic sand, technically speaking? I mean, just being real, it like transforms into things that actually move around. Yeah, we knew that he had... in theory, most of the people at the Silver Tower were alive because they were very far away from Seguri.
Though we did see, like, they got...
There's a big shockwave.
There was... And it looked like they took it harder than others, though, so...
Yeah, they did.
No. Bad.
Oh no, Rodimus fell out of the stream again.
Can they still hear me when you do that, or do I get completely
No, you go away entirely. You can hear me, but nothing comes across from your side.
Anyway, so Muron reveals that Goros has been hearing about the Celtem actually protecting at least a village after he attacked it.
As we saw in the closing not credits.
In fact, they even reuse a scene from that.
Yay. And no, Eric, we're not talking about that sand is made of Kuador and poops. He already says he doesn't eat. This is the first time he's ever eaten anything. I miss Jed. Jed's dead. Deal with it, Carlos.
Sad.
He's been dead for like 9 months.
So they wonder what's going on. May says something must be happening to Shido, and Hiruto wonders if the brainwashing is finally starting to wear off.
Yeah. And then that's when Kuadorn kind of chimes in. He's like, well, you know, he used to be fine, but then all of a sudden when he got this new crown placed on him, it seems like that's when Alice took control of him. Kind of.
And at least in my second watch of this, my initial thought after that is like, you're telling us this now?
Well, clearly he's an exposition machine. He's only good for expositing and shooting lightning.
It's like that scene in Roger Rabbit. It's like, you couldn't have done that this entire time. It's like, no, only when it's funny. So in this case, it's no, only when it's dramatically important.
Yes. Oh, well, you didn't ask. We were just now having this conversation. I'm not used to talking to people. Fuck you, I'm a sacred beast. Kuadorn out?
I'm not exactly a people person.
I'm not a people beast. Who are you people? Then he just starts getting weird.
Now I want to like have a shirt that says like I'm not a people person and just have a picture of his face on it or something.
Yes, but that would only be an inside joke for us. There's so many jokes in these live streams that nobody would ever get when we put them on a t-shirt. Jed's dead. I'm gonna get that on a shirt and send it to you, Carlos. Big white letters. Jed is dead, and on the back, literally have his last moments where he's turning to pink and dying.
Aww.
Just to rub it in your face.
So, and Hiruto remembers that he damaged that horn in their last fight.
Well, he kind of stuck damaged. He did. I guess he cracked it, sort of. But that was that weird scene where the beam saber is actually just touching it, which I finally figured it out. It's not stopping; it's actually just brushing up against it.
Yeah,
so he thought so he thought he penetrated it, but really he's just brushing up against it. But that was the first instance where he said, that's where he finally got the message through. Like he actually saw him, remember? And that's where he was struggling.
Let's see. Kurdoran continues that if they remove the wedge, and Parr finishes the sentence saying that he might be able to return to his original self.
And that's when Kurdoran said, "No, it will just look different." Fucking squirrel boy, always talking. Are you done with that wing yet? Who are you people? He's really old. Who are you people and what are you doing in my temple?
I'm gonna eat you all now.
Why are there 4 big chairs in here? I don't even need to sit. Where are my masters? Alice! Just have Kurdoran wake up as a really cranky, confused old man. Not that he was active like 6 months ago.
Anyway, Kurdoran warns that Shido may be at his limit, though. And then we have commercial break.
No.
Hmm?
Just no. Just no.
Okay.
Just no. Oh yeah, commercial break. We go back to the real world.
We come back to the giant boat and we see Pars talking to May over video chat. It even says May video chat.
Yes. By the way, I like how you got this shot instead of the one where he's actually like talking to May.
Because I thought this shot looked better.
Yes, it does. But that's all you guys get because this is the only picture he got me.
May's in her Christmas maid outfit.
How is that? I've overtaken it. It's mine. Char Chicken is mine now.
That reminds me of how, like, if you look up Super Sentai logos on
they're all yours.
Yeah. A lot of them come up as my stuff.
Yeah, because yours look too official.
Or just because I posted one for every single Super Sentai team that ever existed, plus a couple that were weird.
Anyways, talking about things. I actually kind of completely, this conversation went over my head while I was doing the screenshots and stuff. What are they even talking about?
Yeah, she says they'll lead the repairs to basically they're planning things that their arrangement of stuff. So she'll lead the repairs to on Kurdoran to him and Hiruto, while her and Kazumi go out and check the village that Moran mentioned.
Oh, that's right. They're
going
continuing this conversation
that was attacked, then protected by South Sam.
That's right. That's right. Because we're still talking about South Sam outside of the world.
Yeah, Par agrees, and May says she's surprised he found the parts for Kurdoran's wings, and Par says they were leftover parts from a failed customization.
So he was trying to do a customization with the Penelope. We don't know. This is like, we got to bullshit our way through the one scene we screwed up. It's like, had they never shown that, we would have been fine. If they showed the wings modified from the Wing Zero, we totally would have got it.
I'm just picturing him being, because, you know, he's super rich. He probably just has like 12 copies of like the Penelope stashed away in his backlog or something like that, just for customization parts or something like that, because he's filthy rich and can afford 7 of those. That's probably right next to like 12 deep strikers and an entire closet filled with perfect grades.
Well, which is funny is because we've seen that he's building a giant HG at some point, but everything else we've ever been shown of Par has all been SD.
SDs, including what's behind them.
Yes, that's technically not a stag beetle, Jerry. I'll show you why.
Yep.
But
we're getting there, don't worry. So
I have pictures.
So you gain something even in failure, is what May says. And Par seems to like this line of thinking. We pan across a shelf showing a couple of neat-looking SD Gundams and a family photo.
Yes.
And as well as a picture of him before the crash.
Yeah. So, Jerry, that's not a Hercules beetle. That's a dragon. Or not a Hercules beetle, a stag beetle. It's a dragon. And then actually, please still be there. So I zoomed in on the Argif family photo here. I'm looking for the mysterious sibling that should have the 2-prong necklace. It's not there. but also there's like a varying degree of colored skin between these family members, and presumably these are. And it's funny that like Par and Shahryar are so far apart. Like,
Yeah,
who are
that
like
struck me too because I was trying to find Shahryar, and I was like, he wasn't sitting next to him, so I'm like, is he not in this picture? Oh no, there he is.
Yeah. So who are these people? Like who are all these their servants or are they family members? Because nobody else looks quite as rich as them, if I'm honest.
I mean, I just assumed that he has a large extended family, and that's who all these people are.
Also,
it is a baby and like 2 or 3 younger children.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking the one down here in the yellow, that's a male, just by the way they're dressed, but almost has a Lala feeling with the yellow and the purplish hair.
Well, that's because Lala's dress was based off of like traditional Indian garb.
Yes, but they're not Indian; they're Saudi Arabian. They're Saudi. But I was just saying, is that a Lala reference or am I stretching? And this is actually this kid here is a almost a Setsuna reference.
Yeah, except isn't Setsuna's scarf red?
No, Setsuna had I thought he had a blue scarf.
Maybe I'm combining what's her name from Attack on Titan.
You might, yeah. That's me.
Because I know she has a red scarf for certain, but
yes, and it keeps getting smaller. But either way, let's move on to a very important thing. We want to talk about these SD Gundams.
Yes.
So here's this one. So this is the one where it said it looks like a Hercules beetle or whatever, which is cool and all. But these are actual kits, which is pretty cool. So I had to look this up. This one is the Superior Lander, SD Superior Lander, which is not a great looking kit, if we're honest. So that's what it looks like with no detail.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's a really old kit. You can tell by the background. So it's based off Sentinel, or Superior Gundam, either way. But you can see all the dragon bits and stuff like that. So this is with no stickers. There were pictures that I found, but they were too tiny to really make use of. So it's a much older SD design. It might be one of the bigger ones too. Kind of hard to tell.
It certainly looks like it has a high part count.
Yeah, presumably. But I mean, like nothing of the gold or anything is on there. So that was a really crappy picture. But there's also this one, back to the dragon one. I had the picture twice. Is actually this guy. So yeah, this was I think it was a Dynasty Warriors version turned into the SD thing. Somebody else had a BB Senshi Sanada Yukimura, which is based off of Shining Gundam, I believe. If that link I found was correct.
I was thinking it was a new Gundam because it looks like it has the fin funnels on its wings.
That's what I said too. It's kind of a weird combo, I think. I think it's somewhere in between because New Gundam doesn't have a big gem in its chest. But yeah, this one, it does have a normal-ish Gundam mode without the dragon feet and dragon head. But yeah, the fin funnels, that's what I said. I searched for it and then I went, wait, what is this? Now, if you actually look up the real thing, like the real type version of it, it looks absolutely ridiculous and amazing. The SD version is obviously the stupid one, but yes. Majin has a red scarf. Mejin has a red scarf. The outfit he wears is based off of Setsuna. Yeah, but I thought Setsuna had a blue scarf. He wears a dark blue shirt. Either way, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But anyways, yeah, so these were Gunpla. I had the question and I looked it up real quick. So that's pretty neat. Good luck trying to find these. Unless they're going to re-release them with the thing of this episode. They're like, hey.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bandai did that because we know that they basically hold on to all of their molds, and it's very rare when they actually say, no, we will never, ever, ever reproduce this kit ever again.
This one seems more likely. The other one is kind of shit, so they would probably need to redo that.
Yeah, because this one I think is at the very least, is a slightly newer one to that one.
Yeah, this reminds me of some of those other ones that came out a couple years ago that are a bit simplified, but have like extra transformation and stuff like that. So this one doesn't look like it has a ton of posability, but the gimmicks are pretty cool. I like it. I don't need it, but it's pretty neat. Yeah, the legs look like they don't really do much of anything, and I saw it undetailed, like this one clearly painted and whatnot, and like even those front skirts are a whole sticker. all that kind of stuff. So
now, a funny thing that I noticed, because I saw this picture too, because when you told me what they were off chat, I looked at it. If you go back to his version of it, he doesn't have the gold part on the middle of the head is unpainted on his.
Fair point. Yeah, that's just an animation error, probably. But
it's probably animation error. Though what's funny is I almost thought they had taken that exact picture you found and used that.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. It's almost
shot is ever so slightly different, but yeah, it's
a slightly different angle. But like, no, yeah, you're right. Because this was, I think, an actual official photo.
Yeah, and so they could have had access to that, but while that one is slightly looking down, this one is slightly looking up.
Hands are slightly different positions. Yeah. No, yeah. It's probably
so close that
it's so close. Yeah. And it does actually have a dragon form. I think is just the backpack, the head, and the stuff comes off and forms a separate dragon. So yeah, that doesn't sound like
sounds familiar.
Yeah, like maybe you already liked SD dragon knee creatures. Third party real type version. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, it's a new Gundam base, but for some reason when I looked it up, there was some Shining Gundam references in there too. So I don't know. I'm just saying. Super Saiyan.
Just Super Saiyan.
Anyways, from there we move on to Mr. Kazumi.
See Kazumi celebrating the completion of the Aegis Knight, which he promptly stomps and finds something else to work on. Hashtag relatable.
Aegis.
Aegis.
Say Aegis. Say it 3 times.
No, that sounds like I'm going to summon something there.
You won't do it. It's like Aegeus, Maya. We're going to get you.
The reason I mispronounce it is because my dad talked about the missile defense system that uses that same word as its name.
Yeah.
But pronounced it the other way, and so it's always been stuck in my head that way. So yeah, it's not what it. Now I don't even know what I'm saying. Aegis.
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 Yeah, there's no other e sound. Aegis, not Aegis. It doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Unless you spelled it wrong.
But yeah, so that's why I've always mispronounced that word. Anyway, so
but it's an interesting look.
Yeah, and I kind of like how they're still trying. They're being a little coy with us. They're not showing it in full light. He's got the light behind, and it's still covered in shadows. We don't get a real good look at it just yet.
Yeah, and I like how it does not look impressive. Like they haven't really drawn a lot of detail on it either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, so does the Gunpla just look this crap, and then once he scans it in, it gets awesome?
And what's funny is, relating back to what we were talking about before, I want to say after he brings it down, one of the things he starts doing is like sanding or something.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so he finds something. He says something about I should probably tighten up these seams or joints or something like that.
Where am I at? Oh yeah, I forgot. I had this shot here. So when he goes back to work on it, and you get the zoom out of his room. So he's back home.
Yeah.
So he doesn't live far, but of course he has the seed poster on the wall.
Yeah, it's actually a cool looking poster.
Yeah, I think that's a legit poster. It's kind
of
funny.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I wish I knew what exactly the books were, but I know this one here has a grandpa on the cover. So obviously these are probably Gunpla guides of some sort, or Gundam guides.
Or manga, yeah.
I figured they were a little big for that, given the size, but do they do oversized prints of manga?
I don't know, to be honest.
Wow, you should know these things. You're like the comic book guy. That's what you do.
Anyway, so we cut back to Hinata working on the next armor, and it looks like he's painting.
With a brush.
He's got the little jar of orange paint right there.
Hand painting it.
Which it's kind of cool actually seeing them paint that. I feel like that's a detail we haven't seen. Like we know it happens. They talk about custom paint and stuff like that, but I don't think we actually have seen anybody actively painting something.
Yeah,
in the series.
What I find interesting, because I haven't built this yet. Obviously, I have it, but I haven't built it. So I haven't built this new armor flyer thing either. The arrangement is so different with what it does with the legs and then the shoulder equipment. It's so strange. So the forearms are now behind the shoulders. That's just so weird looking. But I mean, it's a cool looking thing in general. Although he hasn't finished the flying parts up here. These are normally triple over. Maybe it goes down to a single at that point. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
normally
know
it's like
either.
3
I don't
sensors.
have those ones, sadly.
Someday.
So we cut back to Hirota working on the armor, and as it pans past, we see the picture of him and Eve.
Actually, Carlos, I think that's the same thing we saw before, where it's basically like a cutting sheet or something with the Gundam behind it. We mentioned it before in a different episode.
Yeah, that's his like work mat that has it's a picture of Grandpa. And I wondered what version of Grandpa that was supposed to be. I think we figured it's probably the 2.0 or the 3.0 Master Grade.
What I didn't notice before was on the edge over here, there's a much shorter version. Hold on, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. Over here, this is a shorter version.
Yeah.
There's a bigger version. So here's your HG, here's your MG, and then whatever the hell's over here. So yeah, it's just like a cutting mat, or it looks like a ripped off piece of paper, to be honest, because there's a rough edge to it. Either that or
that's a paper towel.
Yeah, that's a towel. Yeah. Probably for cleaning off his brushes or for resting his arms on.
Gesundheit. You all right?
Oh, yep, that was just a... I hate when I sneeze quick like that. There's no prep time.
So after this, we cut back to the school where Hiroto gets a message from Par and Cosme that they're ready to meet up.
Technically, right before that, there's this nice important scene.
Yeah, I mentioned it, and you totally ignored me.
Did you put the picture back up?
Oh, had he taken it down?
Remember, he put it face down a while back.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. So that's on me.
Yeah, it's called character growth that you keep ignoring.
That I keep ignoring. Okay.
You keep ignoring it. This whole episode, you've been ignoring it. He's been smiling like the whole time.
I mentioned it at the very beginning. Thank you very much.
It's super alien, and you don't even notice it. Yes, here's Hinata carrying around her big ass stick. I love that there's nowhere to put it, so she just has to carry it around everywhere. I know.
Well, yeah, because it's a full-on Japanese.
But like, why wouldn't it be where she trains, or like at the gym or something? Like, why does she have to carry it?
It's, I don't know, because probably the same reason we see people carrying around like their lacrosse sticks or something like that. I don't. But you don't see people carrying around like their football pads or something. It is odd, but I see it happen so much in anime. I don't question it.
It's just weird. Just because the screenshot here, just like she's proud of it.
Anyway, as he walks out, he turns and sees Hinata leaving as well, and he asks if she wants to go to Gundam base with him. Which she says she can't because she has a special archery event coming up and she wants to talk to her senpai about it.
But we'll walk with you anyways.
Yeah, he's about to walk away and she says, yeah, I'll walk with you part way because she wants to spend time with him and it's nice.
Yes.
Also,
we get
into there was something and there was something she wanted to talk to him about anyway. So she starts asking about how the offline meeting went, curious how it is to meet with people he's only seen in GBN. Hiroto says it's like kind of the same. I mean, we're not that different from how we are, in GBN. He does say that he doesn't think they would have been friends like this if they had met in real life first.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's like if they met somehow in real life before this, we wouldn't be friends like this. That seems weird, but I guess.
I think it's partly referring to the fact that
they're only friends because of the mission.
Yeah, they started hanging out because they got sucked into an alien world, and they've been continuing the mission because it's kind of a life or death situation right now.
Yeah, they're superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Power Rangers team.
You're not wrong.
They're pretty much Super Sentai team. Or are they more like VR troopers? Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, really. Technically.
That's probably a better analogy.
Very Grid Man. It's very Grid Man.
Very good, man.
Yes.
Now I want to see Studio Trigger do a Gundam series.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
The people who did like
important conversations are happening.
Fine. Anyway,
they just want us to get to the bump.
Okay.
Like, get to the hand touching. They're having meaningful conversation, and nobody says "I love you" or "Be my boyfriend" or nobody kisses in this scene. It's horse shit.
So Hinata teases him, asking if he's like telling his friends his deepest secrets, and says that they just became good friends on GBN first.
But technically, yes, he is.
Yeah.
I had to kill my girlfriend.
But all this kind of makes her happy because, he's making friends. Hiroto then says he's grateful to her because she was the one that gave him the push to do all this. And that's when he mentions the idea that he has an urgent mission. And she's trying to ask what he means by this, but flounders a little bit. But she's starting to piece together that there's something going on. Mm-hmm. And she asks if it's dangerous.
It is. It still comes down to the idea that their friendship has been broken. Mm-hmm. And she can tell that something has changed in him and he's more lively. And she just wants to reconnect that way. And they've been barely connected up till this point. So she is reaching out. She's trying to be that good friend again because now he's clearly more responsive to it.
And also she's concerned about his safety because she knows that there is somebody that was playing GBN and suddenly went .hack.
She hasn't even brought that up just yet, but yeah.
But that's part of what's going in her mind. And I think that was because she said she wanted to talk to him about something.
Yeah,
so I think that was connected to it.
Yeah, because ever since finding out that what's his face is in a coma because of being in GBN, she's been concerned about Hiroto that happening to him. Obviously, without knowing the connection up until later in this conversation.
Yeah, so
which is it took one phone call for everything to finally connect.
Yep. So she asks if it's dangerous. He says yes. She stops walking. She brings up what's going on with Shido, saying how he went into a coma while playing GBN, and Hiroto immediately recognizes who she's talking about because she doesn't specifically say Shido.
No, she doesn't say his name at all. She said my senpai's brother.
Yeah, and she starts to apologize, and then he mentions him by name. Before they can explain things, her senpai calls her to say that they're not meeting up because her brother's basically taking a turn for the worse.
Also, really good use of space and feel in this shot.
And lighting, and
lighting in general in this series. Yeah, the artwork in this series is ridiculous. That's why this was part of the thumbnail.
Considering this is for funds specifically to sell model kits anime, the artwork has no right to be this good.
Yeah. So she literally finds out that basically he's taking a turn for worse. His vitals keep changing rapidly. He's going through something, even though technically speaking, his expression never changes. She can tell he's hurting, right?
Yeah, and he's got he also has an air mask on now where he did it before.
Yeah, he didn't need that before, an oxygen mask, yeah. And she's like, oh no. And then, basically the conversation continues, but... Yeah,
Hiroto, at least to me, it seems like he's overhearing all this over the phone, what's going on the phone. Yeah. And he immediately calls everyone else who are in GBN right now.
Yeah, they're waiting on him to get there.
And basically he's like, timetable just went up.
Yeah, we got to move the mission forward. We got to go. Yeah, I thought that was funny. They were all standing there waiting for him. How far does he have to walk? Call an Uber or something. Even May can try to flag a taxi. Dude, get there. To me, it would have been
at the time he thought that they, had time to have for a leisurely stroll. He didn't realize that Shido was suddenly coming up with a sudden case of dead.
Yeah, but it's also, if he was going to take that long to get there, like, that's kind of dickish when everybody else is clearly waiting on it. And at this point, I'm surprised Parr hasn't just said, okay, I'm going to have us a private diving area where we can't be disturbed. You know?
Yeah, like he has something, like have him have something set up on his ship or in the giant limousine or something like that. Have a mobile unit or something.
Yeah. That's a good point. He did. At what point did Shido realize that Eldora was real? Probably when his brain got taken over. This is the only scene of Hinata I like because she's finally doing something the bare minimum. Shut up. Just because you don't like her characterization, she's doing the same thing she's always done. She's been there for Hiruto. The only thing is, he didn't know what was going on her end.
Yeah.
Get over it. Jed's dead. Fuck you.
Anyway, so Hinata looks at him wondering what exactly is going on. Hiruto tells her everything about Shido, GBN, Eldora, their fight, everything.
Yeah.
And
by the way, by the way, what happened to him is due to the mission that I'm on right now on an alien world. My friends are waiting on me. By the way, I have another L diver girlfriend, sort of. That's who the girl was in my picture. She's an L diver. And actually, I have to go now. I might die. It's fine. She's like, don't die. And he's like, okay.
Basically, yeah, she's afraid something will happen to him.
I mean, with good reason. He didn't even mention to her that, yeah, remember when I had that bruise on my head? That happened in game. Which we still haven't. Luckily, they haven't been in such a battle that they've gotten hurt again.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's the crazy part. They haven't been in such a ridiculous battle. Even after battling Alice in person with virtually no Gunpla, they managed to take no damage. Even Cosme, who was on foot, didn't take any damage. So I'm hoping at some point in one of these next major battles, they all get a little bit fucked up before they got to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so Hinata thinks about her senpai, saying Shido's important to whatever her senpai's name is. Hiruto says that's all the more reason he has to fight.
Yeah, and now didn't she mentioned this at some point in this episode, you've always been someone who does what's necessary for other people or something.
Yeah. She says she's a lot that she asks if Shido's a lot like him, Hiruto, always doing their best for others. Hiruto says he wants to keep doing that. So then she makes him promise that he'll come back safe and sound, and he says he'll save Shido for certain.
Yes.
And then Hinata says like she's going to go and support her senpai, and the two run off on their own missions. They do a little fist bump like thing too, which was kind of cute.
I didn't screenshot the fist bump.
No, it was. I mean, it's a cute scene, but it's not.
They're going to be so mad that I didn't do the fist bump. I didn't do it. They've been talking about it the whole time, and they're going to be mad about it. Yes, she does take it all in stride, but at that point, she literally goes, "Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense." It's like,
well, and also like she understands this, and now she realizes the enormity of the situation, and she has the realization. It's like, okay, what I need to do now is go over there and be supportive for senpai, which it would be nice if maybe she insists on. It's like, no, I'm gonna get my own Gunpla, go in there and help fight with you, but
it wouldn't do any good. I mean, like, going with him would have been fine, but except she literally wouldn't have been able to do anything. It does make more sense.
It just bugs me because often in anime like this, the female character is regulated to being, I'm going to go and support you from the sidelines as opposed to
cheerleader
fighting up there with you. And I mean, yes, we have May, but it would be nice that that she didn't fall into that trope as well. It was one of the things that bugged me with Fumina in Try, where her first Gunpla was all about fighting and attacking on her own. And then she had this realization that, no, what I need to do is be support for everybody else. And so her Gunpla becomes extra parts for everybody to
Well, that was her thing at the beginning of that, because she said, "Look, I don't have as much skill as they do, so I'm just going to be here to support them instead of being someone of her own volition," which is the changeover to where she builds the Star Winning that can fight on its own, not just be a support unit. You know, the original Winning Gundam sucked in comparison. You know, but in this case, Hiruto has 3 super important female characters in his life. One, which was basically his girlfriend, taught him all about love and caring about GBN and Gunpla. Even though he liked Gunpla, this taught him something new. And then had to kill her, so big emotional center there. Hinata, who's always just been like almost like a cousin in some aspects. Like their families are so tied together, they probably spend a ton of time together at family events and stuff like that. So she's actually, while we would love her to be like the love interest, but really she's not that. I wouldn't call her a sister, but I would definitely say like a close cousin.
Yeah.
You know, and
she's
the fact
family.
that, she's family. And like she has always played support to him. Literally, that's her job. They probably had more in common. Obviously, we saw back in the day where she took interest in his hobby to spend more time with him. So therefore, he taught her to build Gunpla, so to speak. And, you know, at some point, probably use some GPD every now, you know, maybe just for fun. You know, she probably didn't have, other than archery, didn't have much else going on. So just wanted to find a way to spend more time with him. And I get it, Carlos, if you think that she isn't enough or she should have had more to do. She's his anchor in the real world.
Yes.
She's the only thing remotely matters in the real world. School, if just school, he doesn't have a job. Hinata's the only real person he cares about at all, even if he's ignoring her because he's so damn broken. So yes, you hating on her annoys me, not because I particularly like the character, because you're ignoring what her character is, because it just annoys you. Same problem with Alice. Alice is actually a really good villain because his only purpose is to be a protection program. He just doesn't realize that he should be protecting the thing he's attacking. It's like flaws don't ruin the thing. That's what they're there for. It's like, and now that Hiruto finds out that Hinata has literally been attached to the thing he's been doing, of course he's going to even try to bring her in. He can't literally bring her in to GBD or GBN and to Eldora, although I'm sure he'd love her to go there. You know, I'm sure that'd be awesome. But her job really is to be there for her senpai, who is, you know, they've clearly grown attached over however much time this is happening, and she's been spending time with her at the hospital. Prior to that, they were in archery club together. You know, so they know each other, and now she finds out that her brother, is in this coma, and that's connected to the thing that her best friend is also connected to. So through caring for Shido and his sister, it was the only way she could try to care for Hiruto, who wasn't even talking to her.
And I like the idea that that they really are sort of approaching this as they're both going off on their respective missions now.
Yeah, her mission in this is not to jump in a Gunpla or make out with him or whatever. Her mission is to go be by the side of the person they are trying to rescue. It's like, and Androya just made a good point. Carlos is just saying that a soldier's wife is not doing enough just because she doesn't join the fight with her husband in the war zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of true. I mean, someone's got to hold the fort down. Now, they don't live together, but they have a fort together. Like I said,
the only reason I'm saying that I would like to see her get in and fight is just because it's a tired trope, I think, in anime where the female characters tend to be just the passive support characters. I'm not saying what she's doing isn't
they're the sexy
good though.
Well, you're right. They're either a passive support character or they're the thing that needs to be rescued. In this series, there is no female that needs to be rescued. All the females are, generally speaking, very strong.
Yeah, for the most part, they do a pretty good job.
Even Maya, who doesn't pick up weapons, is like the strong mother to all the kids, but she's a badass driver, and she clearly will stand up for the people she loves. And at some point, she and Cosme have to kiss later. It's going to happen.
It's got to happen.
It's going to be really weird, but it's going to happen. So this series doesn't have weak, shitty female characters.
No,
I mean,
not really.
like
No.
Shido's sister, maybe, because she literally has had nothing better to do but stand by his bedside and be
but I think
expositional.
in some ways, she's kind of where like Hirito was. She's broken right now, and she's been broken for however long Shido has been laid in that bed in a coma with doctors going, heck if we know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like she and Shido were so close, or Masaki technically. Wait, yeah, Shido is
Masaki, I think, or
it's Masaki Shido. So yeah, his name's Shido. Okay.
Yeah.
They were so close as brother and sister. They did everything together. They rode bikes together, all this kind of stuff. She just didn't do Gunpla. She's his Hinata. You know, so the parallels of the relationship are there. So are you going to complain that she didn't have anything better to do? She literally, like, she's still trying to go about her business and then spends all of her spare time with her brother, who she doesn't know how much time is left. I mean, it's important. I get that, like, in the first season, yeah, she didn't have much to do, but she was once again the mirror of reality to him. She kept talking to him, kept trying to get through to his feelings, and he kept having some realizations whenever they talked. You know?
Yeah, in some ways, Hinata is like almost the audience surrogate, because like in the season 1 of ReRISE, she's the one that's like trying to figure out what's going on with Hirito. Is researching things and then looks to the owner. It's like, what's an L diver? And that's when May has her big reveal.
Yeah. Okay, so Carlos is basically saying that, just to kind of sum up the last couple comments, that he basically prefers the Eldoran people because they're more real, I guess, is what he kind of getting at. And so the stuff with GBN and things like that don't really matter to him. He's more into what's happening on the Eldoran side, and that's fine. But then he says that Jed basically was disrespected and killed like that. Jed wasn't disrespected. He went out doing his
thing. Went out a freaking hero.
Like, Jed was a hero. I mean, everybody died.
His instinct was to protect. I think there was 1 or 2 kids, like, with his body from a giant lightning blast from the sky that he had no clue what it was. But his first instinct was like, okay, I'll take the hit so this little girl will survive. I mean, they both were vaporized.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was trying to... Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Jed was a hero, but he was the big brother.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Resistance, he was nothing more than the big dude who organized the idiots. Like, he was important, but he also wasn't.
Technically,
Resistance,
he wasn't a leader.
Yeah, he wasn't even a leader. He was the eldest male of prime age in the village. Cool. He was the one that all of the younger boys had to look up to. But you know what the purpose of those characters is? They have to be the wall that the younger generation have to climb over to be better. So we knew Jed had to either die or somebody else had to be better than him regardless. That person is going to be Stola, not Freddy. Freddy is totally a diver. Stola have to be the new Jed. And Jed died doing exactly what Jed do. Protecting people, organizing people, he spent his literal last minute trying to save children or comfort them in their demise. I mean, like, he was not disrespected. If anybody has been disrespected, it's Kuadorn. Because now he has nowhere to poop because Freddy doesn't go away.
Moving right along.
Yes, since we're seriously getting him there. I wouldn't tell him that he needs to stop watching Jerry, but he needs to reorganize the way he looks at it, because that is done. Like, we are getting more Eldoran stuff. Obviously, the climax of the series is probably going to finish on Eldora up until they realize that Alice can still access GBN, and then the final battle have to happen there, and that's how all the old characters come in. Probably. I swear to God, if this ends with a bunch of portals opening up and all these Gunpla start coming through to Eldora to help fight Super Alice, I'm done with this show. I will be done with that because that is bullshit.
I think that'd be awesome. But...
let's put the onus of finishing the series on the old heroes, not the new ones. That's what I'm saying.
I think it would be cool to have more GBN people show up to help finish the fight. But yeah. Anyway, so shall we move on? Because we're almost over.
And yes, you're right, Hida. I am talking actual smack about Jed just to get under his skin because it's all about the Jed worship. Jed's dead. Jed wasn't the hero of the series. He was a good character, and I liked him, but he was a thing to move the plot along. He was a good character, but he was a plot device. Kind of like Moran. Moran is completely useless. He's just a plot device. Look at him. All he did was give them a thing, and then now he's giving them instruction. He put Freddy and Parr in extreme danger, and then now he turned into a joke. He's just a plot device. He even handed them a plot device. Not portals, stargates. I'm sorry, you're right, Jerry. They're gonna open a bunch of stargates to let everybody in. Technically, if they have gate drive, that would work. I'm not even talking about the stupid ass gate drive at the end of Stargate Atlantis. That was horseshit. But yes, no in game reunite everybody. It's like it just needs to be our heroes, unless it goes into GBN, and that's when we get the kits that they keep selling us. Okay, fine. They run away. They go into GBN. We see the Aegis Knight. Is that what you want?
Yes.
There's your Aegis Knight. Shut up. And actually, these were your pictures, but they were out of order because the shield is shown first.
Oh, did I? So, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but
because of the way I was numbering them, yeah. Anyway, so
the shield is awesome.
Big, cool-looking shield and everything.
But what does it do?
May comments that the name refers to his shield, and surprised he's made a Gunpla based around defense instead of going for destruction points. And he says that's the whole point of this thing, and that he's counting on all of you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So he kept the lance essentially the same.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit different, but
yeah, it was said it's essentially the same. The shield, I think, is his old shield with more stuff on it. Like the shield is on top of his old shield, kind of. Like still got the circular base.
Maybe it does have a circular base, yes.
And that looks like a sword handle there inside the shield, does it not? Looks like to be a beam shield or beam sword of sorts.
It does.
I know we've already seen the kit, but
like the Hyun has his beam sabers stored inside the shield.
Yep, and then he has his flight, his fuselage sticking out. There's something awkward about the way they make the fold-up design, where they got the fuselage basically hanging out backwards like a tail. It's a little weird, but it makes it look a little strange. But they made it look awesome in this shot. It still doesn't really transform like the Aegis, but that's okay. And
I still think that the chest to me looks more like the Age 2. I think that
Jerry's been constantly pointing out the fact that it looks like there's some ageness going on there. Like it suspiciously has an A-shaped hole, even though it would kind of be upside down for the actual age symbol, because you should go to the other. But it's also he posted in the Discord, I believe, images of, like, I guess it was supposed to be the original Gundam from Age, like the one they reference, and the chest is very similar. But that would be such a random reference for somebody who loves Seed so much.
Yeah.
I mean, if it does light up with an A down the line, so there we really get a good pun with it being the Aegis Knight.
Yeah. That would be.
I mean, that would be cool. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but you know.
Anyway, so.
He still wants to see Captain Xeon drop Axis on Alice. So we don't want everybody to come. Yeah, but Captain Xeon's not real. He's just a TV show.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber with a personality, basically.
G-tuber, thank you.
G-tuber, yes.
Get it right, sir. Also, this is where your pictures
equivalent of the angry video game nerd.
Oh, that's not nice. But this is why did you stop your pictures here? So much more happened after this. Like you
Didn't I
stopped
have
it.
pictures?
No, you stopped at Aegis Night.
Because I could have sworn I had. Oh,
This was the last picture you had in the folder.
uh,
Either way, it doesn't matter. I filled in the
yeah.
gaps.
Well, there
Because
you go.
they
So
looked at
anyway,
Aegis Night and then they look up
yeah,
on the
Kazumi's
new equipment.
it's like that new armor looks like it's heavy machinery, and Hiroto says that he was planning on using it against Gundam frames, specifically Gundam frames.
Yeah,
But he didn't expect to use it against UC type enemies. And then Kazumi says, "Oh, then it's perfect for hunting a demon." I'm like, "That's an IBO reference."
that is a direct IBO reference, which they've been talking about in the chat forever. Also, can we just talk about how strange that the Core 2 looks with the Venus armor? So it's like, because it doesn't change to the other colors, it stays the same.
Oh,
it looks odd. I just don't like it. I'm sure I won't like it when I have to do it later. But yeah. So basically the Venus is just on its own, but we get the Saturn 6. Either way. Yeah, so is it meant to be, we know it's a drill, but how is it supposed to work against Gundam frames?
because in IBO, every weapon that's good against the nanolaminate armor is basically
it's usually a piercing weapon, not a drilling weapon, which I get.
Well, a drill is a piercing weapon.
Kind of, but it doesn't have a screw, so it basically looks like a giant pick more than anything. I don't know. Like, I like how that's what he said. That's what he made it for. But then we also see him carving ice with it.
Yeah.
Like, no. I think you made it to carve ice, and then you just said it's for Gundam frames. It's meant to take down those demons.
I made this for flashbacks to the ice cutting thing, and he's like made something really cutesy. He's like fighting Gundam frames, like Barbatos and an IBO, not for weird artsy things.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct, Delta Plus, that Kimara's Vidar had a drill in its knee, but that was made like a drill bit. This is made like a spear. I know that it spins, but that's not really how you drill through things. That's how you just make a little. Either way, it's weird. Yeah, but it is interesting that they're referencing IBO frames, even though they can't use IBO due to whatever those weird rights are that won't let them do it. So it's funny. It's interesting that they dropped that reference. But yeah, I also like that he brought in the heavy weapons thing. Because actually, that was the first thing the first suit he was in when he fought the Celtam. So I'm sure there's symbolism there. He had Earth and Venus when he first fought the Celtam, and then he blew up both of them to escape, basically.
Let's see. Par calls down, saying once they're finished fixing Curdorn's wings, that they'll join up with them.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We forgot to point that out earlier. Because now, here we go again. And I think this is where they start bullshitting a bit more. Because look at the difference between the Valkylander and Kuadorn in this shot. Those are not in the same scene together, artistically. Look how super well defined Valkylander is and how Kuadorn is blurry and fuzzy.
Well, Curdorn also has that sort of aura around him that always makes him look a little bit fuzzy.
Yes, but the wing that they're attaching to him did not whenever they finished it earlier. But the point is, what I forgot to reference earlier was the fact that after they were done fitting the wing, it disappeared.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. So when they did the eating, whenever Maya fed him, the wing was just gone. And here they're just like doing final touches. So I think that those scenes were meant to happen here. Like they finished the wing, they did all the construction, and then it led into this. Not it stops and had a break. I think they did cut this interestingly, where he went from having the wing finished, essentially, to having no wing on him at all, back to having the wing on and it being finished.
Do we know if they lost an episode or something like that from the run because of what happened?
They did. I think that's what they did. That's what I said. I think some of the things that happened in this episode weren't supposed to happen in the order they happened in. Because I think this was meant to happen after the construction, But the whole reason that they wanted to test that they could leave stuff behind was that they could leave him with a wing. Why would they take the wing away when they were done building it?
I mean,
they say that they weren't done, but they clearly showed it was done. They put away all the tools and everything.
Things with it. I assumed that they were making some fine-tuning adjustments off of him, and then they were going to put it back on. But it is. I will agree with you. It is 100% a weird choice on how they did things, and it points to there being some sort of behind-the-scenes issue that we may not be privy to.
That doesn't really mean that much, Carlos, because like I said, the fact that Valkylander really kind of stands out in the scene doesn't necessarily mean it was part of this scene to begin with, because the scaffolding disappeared too. So we know that they were supposed to have scaffolding to work on the wing, and then it went to May holding them up, and now all of a sudden it's the Valkylander holding them up. And so, somebody else, Ben, brought up the fact, why don't we have the Valkylander EX yet? Or EX Valkylander? Why is it still red?
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting that they haven't changed it. I think it was supposed to have been changed by now. And then I think they did lose an episode, and they had to cut different scenes together. And, you know, like we were mentioning earlier, nothing is moving in this scene except for maybe Par and Freddy, if at all. So that's just a layer. But they're not really in the same lighting or in the same focus as everything else that's going on. So I think this particular shot is bullshit. I think they just cut it together to make it flow, even though we already saw that the wing disappeared for no reason whatsoever. And yeah, you made the argument that they still had to do some stuff, but why would they paint it if they weren't done? It's like, paint is kind of the last thing you do after you're done fitting everything together, generally speaking. So I think they just threw some shit together.
You'd also generally wouldn't do painting while it's like on your subject necessarily.
Well, I mean, given how they were doing it, but I think initially this was all built outside, like we said. Like, this was a custom thing. That's why he took pictures, so he could base it off of the wing. And then they just had to make it work. I don't think that's what they had planned at all.
I mean, it's even possible that the scene where we saw the parts from the Penelope could have been from another scene where maybe they were actually laid out on a table or something like that, and then they just
pulled
changed
that layer in. Yeah, that makes way more sense. Because then all they would have to do is maybe draw the tiny little mobile.
Exactly. And that thing wasn't even moving.
No, not in that scene. They weren't. They were just sitting there talking. So those all things were supposed to be in a scene together, but not that scene. It makes little sense with the way everything flows.
Oh, and I have been given a warning that I need to go to bed soon.
yeah, I was looking at the time. Maybe the EX Valkylander is powered up from Kuadorn? Like the same way that
I've been thinking from the get-go, but we haven't seen any sign of that happening yet.
No, but also the fact they talk so much about upgrading their Gunpla, and we know that May gets a minor upgrade. We already know Hirato's done the thing, but if they're getting ready to go in the final battle, then it makes sense. But that would only be if Kuadorn has the same mutating ability that Alice does, but without taking control. So, I mean, it's a maybe, but also makes only a little bit of sense. But maybe that's why he has a pearlescent finish. I don't know. It just depends on whether we see them in the same place at the same time.
Anyway, so they're fixing up the wing. Cosme acknowledges this, says they'll be waiting for him. Curtin says he understands, starts to talk about you, and just sort of trails off.
Yeah.
And he just says that he'll do his best.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is where I got a quick screenshot of them actually teleporting into the Gunpla, just because we finally sort of had proof. Apparently we missed all the proof before.
She's got no head.
She's still got boobs.
Bad. No.
What? That's what they were thinking.
We see everybody get back in their Gunpla.
Yeah.
If we fail to restore Masaki to his original self, I'll end him with my own hands, is what Kuadorn says.
Yes. We get this amazing shot of a flashback.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that is some fantastic artwork.
It really is.
That doesn't even look like modern animation. That looks like something from, like, the late 80s.
It does.
Like the
I
rough
remember
lines,
in
the
one
hard
of the
shading.
behind the scenes things, they specifically mentioned that they didn't want to do any CGI stuff for the mecha and stuff like that, which they easily could have done.
Yeah.
They specifically chose that they wanted everything to be hand animated like it was back in the day.
Yeah. This seems like there should have been some guitar intensifying. Like, this is definitely a guitar
intensifying or electric guitar intensifying.
Probably one into the other. Like, but I think this should, I think that this should have been like a slow pan as he turns around to face him. Obviously, this is right after he changed to being Seltsam. Which is evident by. Oop, nope, that screenshot's not there. Where did it go? Ah, it was in the thumbnail. I had the eyes lighting up. Sorry, I deleted that. But either way, where he turns and all the eyes light up. So whoever made the point last episode where the number of eyes lit up seems to matter to the level of control. So
anyway, also we got to see everybody take off like something out of a super robot anime, which
they launched out of the top.
They launched out of a volcano base.
Yeah, that is weird that it's a volcano. We always talked about that. It's like, it's a volcano, but it's a floating island. How does that work? But then, since we're talking about Masaki Shido, we cut back to him briefly.
And he's starting to get even worse.
Yeah, so his heart rate jumped to 111, and then by the end of this was in the 120s, I think. It kept spiking.
Yeah.
Like, his heart rate kept accelerating. No, it's not.
And let's see.
Hinata runs in.
Hinata runs in, says she's going to stand by and basically be there to support.
I like how she's like, why can't we think of her name? But she like puts her hands behind her back so she can look like she's holding it together. And Hinata reaches around, grabs her hands, and she's like, "No, we're going to do this together. I'm here with you."
Exactly. She's like, "I know you're hurting. It's okay to be hurting. That's why I'm here to help you."
Yep.
And
then we cut to the Seltsam.
Yep. Shido's struggling against whatever's been done to him, and he's surrounded by dead one-eyed machines.
Also, you notice this is one of the few times we've seen it where, at least in recent days, where it's not surrounded by fire and it's like clearly shown. Like, so I think that's symbolizing something.
And we end with Hiruto proclaiming that he'll recover Shido no matter what.
Yeah, he's gonna die. Hiruto's gonna die.
He'll get better.
He'll get better. And then we go into preview time. See, he likes this Hinata scene. Good. So we actually jump into the previews for next week if we see everybody rushing into battle. And then we actually see something that I pointed out to you that you totally missed. So we actually see Hiruto going up right literally against the Seltsam.
Oh, right.
With his super drill powers. And also, this is one of the first real instances of him actually combining the armors, not just weapons. So he's actually got the Saturn arm situation, so that he can use the drill. Everything else is Venus powered. Though it doesn't appear to have the guns on the backpack at the moment. So, that's right, because the backpack will be part of the drill driver. So it's been quite some time since we've seen a real equipment change, other than just a weapon. Like, when he did the half Earth, half Venus?
It was Earth and Venus, I think.
Yeah, so just like
it was Earth 3 armor, but with the Venus backpack.
Yeah. So this was pretty good. And yes, it is going in. Yeah, so we've kind of noticed that time is passing the same on Eldora and Earth. So nighttime, daytime are the same. Which is why nobody noticed the difference. You know what's stopping them from borrowing the tertium and using it against the Seltsam? Is that a question or a statement? I mean, like, are you going to tell us? I assume that because technically there's already an instance of the tertium in there. I don't know. I mean, also, why would you pilot someone else's?
It's not their Gunpla.
Yeah, it's not their Gunpla. They don't have it. You know, it's still on his bedside. He's trying to sever the beast arm.
It's like, yeah, we want to. Can we borrow this for reasons?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it technically still logged in? Yes, I believe that's how it works. I don't know if he's trying to drill the arm off or the arm is catching the drill arm. It kind of looks like it's bent. It's hard to tell. It looks like me pointing at it.
It looks like the arm is reaching up and under and grabbing.
It looks like this is the front of the arm and he's grabbing the drill or deflecting it. It looks like he was going for the chest or probably the head, but this is wrapped around the drill. It looks like, so I'm guessing he's grabbing the drill. Still don't like this color scheme. It kind of looks. This is also a very bad like keyframe. Like just you could tell the animation just sucks. Like because it's meant to be an action moving scene. But either way, that was a good scene. He's grabbing the drill. Thank you for telling us, Victor. But then we see, hey, look, Alice is coming to the rescue with his not new. Definitely old.
The not new.
Yeah, the not new. You see the funnels fly off. Now, mind you, this is just in armor form. It's not actually on the core yet, I don't think. Oh wait, no, if it's got forearms, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm wrong. Yeah. You can see the eye in there and
flying so stock straight. It looked like it was the armor form.
Yeah. Because remember, it doesn't. It always uses the forearms of the core. So you can see the eye in there. So yeah, he's armed up. He's just not being Alice controlled directly. Not red-eyed, so to speak. And then we see this, which I don't know. Okay, so I mentioned that I think it's a combination that I think he changed the core Gundam a bit. And I think he borrowed designs from Ogre, but I could be wrong because it's red and it can use Transam. I think he borrowed some stuff from Ogre because it would have to be GN powered.
Yeah.
But part of me also wonders, given the next shot, if they're tied together, because we know that Alice is trying to keep control. And so you see this, where you now have all these wires and stuff trying to plug into the Celtsam as he's fighting next to lava. Does he convert and mutate the Celtsam further and try to combine it with the core Gundam?
That'd be interesting.
Everybody keeps saying Arch Gundam. I don't think it's the Arch Gundam. I mean, it could be, but I don't think so.
From 00?
Yeah. That's even a real loose term of Gundam, anyways. That's the hyper customized one that
from
Ali Al-Sach uses at the end. Yeah, it's a heavily modified throne. I mean, maybe, but I don't know, because the whole thing with that, it does have more. It has two eyes here, and then another one happening down here. There's another extra eye down here. And this is clearly the core with something else going on. But he could have made upgrades. Given the fact that we see it with a red color, we know somebody else who already has a GN-powered red Gunpla in the series. So part of me wonders if that's how Ogre sort of gets into this. Like, we only see him scan Ogre's thing and then make modifications based off somebody who was also very powerful. Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, we get the answer next week, but it's an interesting combination of things going on. The only similarity is it's red. I'm not saying he's making it look like Ogre's. I'm saying that he borrowed. But that also gives me like some of the original GNX Ogre feeling. It also had a big one eye on it. And 2-minute preview before the show resumed, you see Arch's escape pod. I didn't see that. Not even my final form. 2-minute preview before the show. Talking about, is it a different preview than this preview? I don't know. Arch's head is weird looking. The Arch head has a very elongated head, so it has maybe some similarity, but I think it's closer to other things. Yeah, but I mean, the Arch's escape pod is the same as virtually the Throne's escape pod, any of the Innovatos escape pods. I mean, they're all the weird GN escape pod. So, I mean, it could be anything like that. Who knows? We'll find out. Either way.
Same Gunpla time, same Gunpla channel.
Oh, yeah. The more important thing. We get to see
Kurtorn is ready to fight and he's pissed.
He's powered up. He's going Super Saiyan. But this is clearly
Blue
still on the
specifically.
planet. Yeah, he's going Super Saiyan blue. Oh, there's some red in there. But yeah, his new wings seem to work. So he has almost the same amount of feathers. How that makes him fly, nobody knows.
Magic.
He's a sacred beast. That's how. Jabro dust. The sand. It's the sand. It's clearly the sand. Now, what's really bad is that Kudor never went, I could have repaired my wing with sand all this time. Like, damn it. Okay. But it is getting late, guys. Thanks for watching. We did not have quite the same turnout as last week. That sucks, but oh well. Next week's a battle episode, so everybody will be on board. Make sure you do the like and subscribe thingy. Stick around to both of our channels throughout the week as stuff will happen. I don't know. I got reviews to film. He does too. But make sure you go subscribe to the secondary channel if you want to see more behind the scenes things, including the Leftovers Gundam that I did not show off in the thing from Friday. And there's a rather large robot that I have to review tomorrow. There is an in the kitchen video coming on Tuesday for that. And if you are a patroneer, you will see an early review of that as well. So what do you need to promote this week?
Let's see. I got videos coming up this week. A review of the Star Winning Gundam, actually, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Provided I can get it uploaded tonight. Check out my webcomic, Here Are You, on Tapas and Webtoons if you get a chance. We're coming up to the end of a chapter, and I'm really happy with how everything's turning out on that.
Yes. And that's HURU, HUE, for those people who need to know. And everybody go watch the SpongeBob anime so you can follow along when I do the review this week. So we'll see you guys next time. Remember, as always, to keep on nerding, to keep on building, and let's keep building this community together.
And I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.
Indeed. And Jed's dead.